power of friendship, we'll always win and be warriors of Eukarya.
Yeah. Scram.
I don't know if we've really established that Eukarya is real.
Eukarya is definitely real. So, I mean...
Yeah, and also she talks to me every single night, so...
Hey,
well, you know what?
Guys?
She talks to me every...
What are you all doing? What do you, guys, we wrapped the series like 6 months ago. What are you still doing here?
Oh, well, we were waiting for you to come and start.
No, there is no session 12. It's over. It's done.
I think we could work something out.
Your arcs were wrapped up. The gathering happened. Guys, there's no more Gardenia. There's nothing else that needs to be said.
Not even in a podcast?
Huh.
Team Code Red.
Hello, and thank you for sticking around to yet another after show. That's right. We have more show to after. We're coming at you once again to talk about a project that we wrapped up recently, which is, of course, Gates of Gardenia, our second Daggerheart live play campaign, which aired in the final months of 2025. So, as usual, I am here, of course, as Leaf, Moss Knight of TCR, and Garden Master of Gates of Gardenia. And with me, of course, is the entire cast. Of course, we have our special guest player, Lee, who I believe technically made their debut with TCR in Gates of Gardenia. Debaters aired first, but we recorded Gardenia first, so it counts. Who played Aja the Cicada. Hi, Lee.
Hi.
So happy.
So excited.
We are so happy to have you here on the podcast for the first ever time. Of course, we have Lab Rat Spencer, who you know him, you love him. He played Patches.
I'm here all the time.
I can't make him leave the studio. We have Arma Ren, a fellow player and GM on this on the Roll Red channel and podcaster on this here channel, who played Ozzy the Bee.
Hi.
It did indeed happen. And muted as always, the ever-prepared Demonic Void, who played Sergeant Rex.
I was eating. I was being respectful.
Yeah, I had to screw with you. And last, but certainly not least, someone who was actually not a main player for Gates of Gardenia, but was a very special guest. We have Aaron Tangy, who played Queen Amalthea, and also Princess Priscilla.
I'm so happy to be back.
We're so happy to have you. I'm so happy to have the whole gang here because we did a lot in. I was gonna call it season 1. I'm gonna tell you right now, there is no season 2. It's done. Okay. In the one season that we did of Gates of Gardenia, a lot happened and a lot of funny moments happened. A lot of unplanned things happened because that is how tabletops go. And so we're gonna take a step back to kind of look at everything we did, kind of reminisce our favorite moments, talk about things we wish we could have done differently, give some shout outs to our favorite NPCs, other things that went on behind the scenes with the production of it all, and just send a proper farewell and goodbye to Gates of Gardenia. So I would love to let the mic out of my hands as soon as possible because, of course, I created Gates of Gardenia, and so I obviously have so much to say, but I'd love to hear from my beloved cast here, who, first of all, I just wanted to do a little reflection on and say this cast was phenomenal. So much fun to work with, all of these people, every single one of them. But Lee, I'm putting you on blast here because, as I mentioned, this was Lee's first time doing anything with TCR, and it was such an incredible decision. I there was no looking out for a player for this campaign. I directly went to Lee and was like, hey, would you like to be part of this? Because I'd played tabletops with them before, and Lee is just such a fantastic energy to be with, bounces off of other people in the room. So I just want to start us off right now with some shoutouts to Lee for making their debut on the Roll Red channel and just TCR in general. Amazing guest player and absolute star. So just a little shout out for you there.
You're making me blush. And
that was just from my GM seat. I thought you were a treat to run for, but I'm sure the players as well also had a very good time playing with you.
Yes, Lee was an incredible player. So wonderful to have them. I commemorate them a lot for taking the lead as much as they did. Especially they made my job as Queen of Malthea a lot better because they gave me a lot to work with, because it was a scary position to jump into when you're jumping into a campaign and you're supposed to be a character that knows a lot. So it was very nice to have them there to be able to interact with me. So that was very nice.
Genuinely, I was like so nervous going into it, but since like I know all of you so well and like I played with some of you at like tabletop wise stuff, I was like confident that it would just be a good energy to get into, you know? And you guys didn't make the slightest. This is so exciting and so fun.
That's beautiful.
No, Lee, you were awesome. I think this goes into like a lot of things that you do where you're just very good at creating or just having chemistry with people or just going with stuff like just 100%. It's like whenever someone makes a comment or something toward Aja and Gardenia, you were like, and I'm going full speed towards the wall with this. Like, and I think it just makes it really good.
Raymond speed.
Thank you. Genuinely, you guys like made it so like easy to actually, I don't know, take the ball and run with it. Leaf did an amazing job setting everything up, and each of your characters just like, I don't know, I like, for example, with Patches, I loved every interaction that we had from the second that we actually like began, you know?
That's so awesome. I think it was good.
The duo
I love
ship
when
you
there's
guys
always like
had?
little duos.
Yeah, exactly. I would say out of the whole cast, you two were the ones who like, I would say became like, there was a duo ship that happened there, which kind of helped because
Pardon?
a duo. I don't know. I just made up that word.
Okay.
It's that real
I love
word.
it.
Yeah, if you guys like it, yeah, feel free to use. But you two, because you kind of were entering the story with similar stories, and that was, you guys kind of chose those.
Oh my
paths.
god, we were. Wait.
Yeah, but there was no inkling of me that was like, I should make them change that. They're too similar. Because instead, I had a feeling that would make you guys click, and it did. But at the same time, what you guys also did was not click. The times you guys clashed made for some of my favorite moments. So it was just really good. You guys were just such a funny duo. I'd love to see Lee and Spencer as a duo in something eventually again someday.
That'd be so awesome.
I say, drinking my water of mysteries.
Looks at the camera.
If only all of these people were in something again together.
Oh, if only.
If only.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Devastation.
Just you wait, folks.
Just keep following this channel for a new hot scoop. But anyway, we're not talking about that. But yeah, I definitely feel like it needs to be recognized, because like, not to get too deep into personal moments or favorite moments, because we're gonna do an episode by episode breakdown. But one of like the best moments that like cemented the mentality of like Lee was such a great pick for this was in episode, I want to say 3, when you guys first met the Grapevine, and we're talking about the Grapevine, and Winnie brought out Sassrat, and Spencer started talking shit, and Lee as Aja, you had the like, you kept the mission in mind and stopped Patches and was like, hey man, like, I get it, but maybe let's not piss off the person whose help we need. And that moment made me so happy, because like, I didn't know what I was gonna do about Spencer just bullying this NPC whose help you needed.
I so apologize. I listen.
Yeah, tune into, what is it, the 2025 retrospective after show. We talk all about Sassrat in depth there.
I just yeah, the issue is I kind of ruined Patches' character with that. Like, it just
I loved it so much. I think it was such a funny interaction to have, and like, I don't know, it brought in a new side to Patches that was exciting. I don't know.
I think it was fun also because like Aja is canonically like a teenager.
Yeah.
14 years
And while
old.
Patches, and while Patches is just technically like 3, but like is an adult mindset, so is like technically grown, and it was just like, oh no, this teenager is like, hey man, relax.
Hey, chill.
No reason to be doing all that.
It's magical.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, the one thing I think especially the conflict between Patches and Aja is something that is I really did enjoy, because I find, especially with campaigns and whatnot like this, especially when you're doing it with friends, it's hard to get that like player versus player conflict without it being either too much or not enough. A lot of the time people are too scared to get into role plays like that, or if you don't do it right, it can just come off as your character being an asshole, and everyone's like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. So I think the way it was done was very, very nice, and I very much commemorate the way it was done, because it really helped with that bond, and it's very nice to see, because it's not something we do get to see all the time. So it's very nice.
You're literally the best. What the hell?
That's no. I mean, Aaron, you said that perfectly.
Blah.
We'll do it in the episode breakdown, but I do want to talk about me accidentally making Aja question her entire religion.
Yes, please. Well, I just want to throw one more thing, and then we can shift gears on that. But as Aaron mentioned, so on the 2025 retrospective, we covered a lot more, and we talked about Monsters by Midnight, another campaign we did recently, which also had some like player against player. There's like more interesting dynamics, but the difference was that one that we talked about, I'm not going to talk about it because you got to go watch that episode and that campaign, but that was something we had planned going in, which I think we executed brilliantly. But Patches and Aja was so fun because that had nothing to do with me whatsoever. I didn't give them anything to go off of. They just naturally followed their character's instincts, and that's where it led them. And I think just to add on to what Aaron said, that made it so much cooler, that it was just fully natural. Like it was just character choices that led you guys to that dynamic, which I commend. I think it's super cool, and for me as a GM, it's a lot more exciting when the players just kind of come up with those dynamics themselves. So hats off to you, players.
Well, it's because of the world you created too. Like, if we didn't have the environment and the setup of your entire story, that would have never happened.
Gulp.
For real. Like, there was never any moments where I was worried about like stepping on toes, and I like that there was that, like, you gave us the ability to really lean into this dynamic that kept shifting around, and I don't know, that's it. Your storytelling allowed that to happen really beautifully.
Oh well,
Totally.
shucks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you think so. Well, speaking of the story and all the things I did plan, let's quickly skim down like some of our favorite NPCs or story arcs or locations, just things that stood out as a whole.
What was... Oh, I feel like there was a moment where my brain isn't working anymore, where it's like you did something, and I think all of us like yelled, or I went, I fucking knew it, and I don't remember what it was.
Aaron.
And I feel awful.
Wasn't that me?
It might have
I
been
feel
Aaron.
like that was Aaron.
It was probably Aaron. But yeah, no, it was Az that was like, I knew it, because you bamboozled us a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And I think you should tell us about
Just a
that.
little bit. I mean, I can't talk about it now, or I can wait until we get to that episode.
This is true.
I think we should talk about the theme song, actually.
I mean, yeah, 100%. I think
we should.
I can like have it play silently, starting now. You're welcome, editor me. So, a little bit of backstory, because this was the first anything that TCR has done that had a fully like original composition with like lyrics. All of our channels have cool custom theme songs, most of which are by our good friend Sean Ghedi, who you should absolutely check out. But this time, our theme song was made by a member of TCR, Megabyte, with a fully original theme song, which was written by me. I wrote the song.
Woo!
Woo!
And I mean, I couldn't have made it into what it became, but I'm very proud to say that I did write the lyrics, and I came up with the tune. There was a night I went out into the woods near where Ren and I used to live at like 1 a.m. and it was freezing cold. It was like February, and I just sang it over and over and over, and then sent those to Meg and was like, "Can you please make this sound good and also sing it?" Yeah, and that final version that is in the episodes there is what we got. Huge shout outs to Meg, just an incredible composer. They like, I don't know how they do it, but whenever I listen to the theme song, it's like I am getting sent somewhere. Like, it's just, it blows my mind.
It's very, like, I do feel like I'm traveling.
You can definitely tell that my inspirations were like Everything Stays from Adventure Time and another song that I'm forgetting the name of. A lot of like things that I have listened to were the inspiration for it, but it also just there's nothing crazy about the lyrics. It just made sense to me, but Meg just brought it to life with, first of all, they're like angelic vocals, but then the production of it is like crazy.
Yeah.
And even after like the little things, like the little like birds chirping in like the first few moments, like that was not a direction for me. That was just Meg.
I
So
like
good.
kind of how soft it is too. Like it's mixed very well. Like the music is not overpowering the vocals at all, but it's haunting isn't like the correct word, but the like soft kind of vocals that bring you into it, I think are very nice.
Yeah, it's
And
very
like
it's definitely the perfect tune. Like the theming is just perfect, especially like the softness for just like how ethereal the world in itself is, but also I think it works so well considering that the whole thing of Gardenia is just that everything is so small, and I think it fits, like it just feels like such a little song, you know what I mean? Like I'm like,
100%.
yeah, this is what Bugs would listen to.
100%.
it feels like a lullaby too, which I think is very nice.
Yeah.
The whole theme of Gardenia being this like just this house that's full of love and like thinking of these children and like these
Interjecting really
things that
quick,
we
full
remember.
spoiler territory. If you haven't watched all of Gates of Gardenia, not sure why you clicked on this video, because you can get like so spoilery, because the lullaby comparison there is like very, very fitting. You caught what we were aiming for.
Yeah.
No, I think it suits it like just very well of like again like the themes of it, and it's soft and it's a very nice intro because this campaign was not like not a, it wasn't like a soft campaign. There was stuff where every 5 minutes I was stressing, but it's very fun and it's like the stakes were high for us, but I feel like as a listener I'm like this is not all of these characters are gonna die in 5 minutes, but I'm still like I feel like there are stakes if that makes sense. So it's a very nice it's a nice campaign to listen to just for the ease of like I'm not worried that all of these characters are gonna be like thrown off a cliff or kidnapped every 5 minutes. But it still has like the feeling of like stakes and stress and like all of the highs and low moments that you want and stuff like that in a story.
Yeah.
Like the turtle that we sort of saved.
Yeah, we saved him.
He's alive. That's technically safe.
A body is alive.
And you know what? He's doing okay now.
Sure. Yeah, we can listen. We can get into the details of what you guys did when we get to that if you want. Any other thoughts on the music before we actually get into our episode by episode breakdown? Because it feels like we're ready for it.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. Well, once again, shoutouts to Meg. And if you loved that theme song, don't you worry, because this was the first time we've ever had a project have its own lyrical theme song, and I can confirm that it will not be the last, because I've already been working on a whole bunch more with Meg. So get excited for more music in campaigns and other things. So now let's break it down into the very first episode, titled Chapter 1, Into the Garden. And of course, my friends, if episode by episode we could also give some love to the thumbnail artist for Gates of Gardenia, which was Ghedi, Straw Bunny, who made all but one of the thumbnails. I'll mention that when we get to, of course. But look at that, how cute that is. I love it so much. We've got
It's so awesome.
the 4 main characters on the corners looking into the little bush. Each one of these, I gave Ghedi like a very rough sketch and let them fully take their own spin on it. So every time it was a little surprise. And I love this one so much. It's so cute.
Again, just very matches the vibe perfectly. Very, very Adventure Timey,
Yeah.
very mystical, very just like comforting. And I love it.
And Adventure...
It's got
Sorry, Lee, you go ahead.
it's got that like great feeling of nostalgia and like wistfulness to it. You know, it's
Yes, no, absolutely. Like I feel like I could turn on my CRTV and this would be on it.
It feels like an old cartoon, like where it's like this super like hyper realistic, all super detailed like opening screen, and then you get to watch like a fun little cartoon.
Yes. I love it.
It kind of gives what is it, Lands of Lost Time? What is it?
Land
Land Before Time?
Land Before Time. Thank you.
Yes, you're so right.
Animation
love that.
style looks
Yes.
similar to the art style there.
That's high praise.
You're so right.
If only Ghedi was here to hear it.
It's okay. We'll go tell Dee in a minute.
Yeah, we'll tell Ghedi later. So let's get into the episode. So of course this is the episode that kicks everything off. We are introduced with Aja the cicada waking up, which they find out early from their circadian slumber to find that they are the only cicada left. They bump into Patches. They decide to become friends. They meet Ozzy, and they go to fight a big old squirrel, and they witness the birth of Sergeant Rex. A lot happens in episode 1. Obviously, it's our bringing the gang together episode, setting up kind of the plot. This is where you guys found out from the Tamagotchi that there is a gathering of gods. So, looking back, fond memories, things you weren't expecting. Actually, let me open it with this. Did I tell you guys how Rex was going to be introduced, or was that a surprise to anybody?
That was a surprise.
This was
You didn't say it.
I think it was just like, oh yeah, Rex is like gonna join us too, like during like everyone's gonna join, and like you didn't give us an order or anything. We just went through and it was like, oh, by the way, he came to life today.
Okay. See?
I knew.
Well, yeah, obviously you know.
Really?
I knew
knew.
I coordinated it with Ez, but I couldn't remember. I was like, maybe I told Ren, but I do remember telling you guys like you'll all, because you were all obviously hidden on the camera until you were revealed. But I couldn't remember if I had actually mentioned, because yeah, it's like you meet Lee's character in the first minute, you meet Patches like 5 minutes in, 10, 15 go by until they bump into Ozzy, and then like an hour goes by until Rex. So like As had to just be kind of sitting there waiting to come to life. Rex was literally fighting a war.
Rex was going through it.
Bro was just minding his business fighting the barbs, and then suddenly falling from the sky and shooting a squirrel.
I feel like Rex's intro was my absolute favorite of everyone's, just because
Jumping off.
yeah, it was just so funny and like it's so on theme.
I'll say it was definitely one of the most fun like character introductions to think of, because like Lee's yours was the easiest, because it was like yours made the most sense to be the opening point to this entire show. Like it just made sense. Like you just woke up, you're seeing the sun and the light, this world, it's changed so much. So Aja was the perfect lens for the audience who also don't know where they are. Like Aja knew Gardenia, but it was different. And then, you know, Patches, of course, who through our session 0, we kind of established that Patches' whole thing was being a friend. It made sense. Ozzy was an explorer. Getting Rex into the garden though was like, how do I get this? Because the toy, it was a point that the toys aren't like, they don't have their own tribe in the garden. You know, it's not super common. And I can't remember when or how we came up with that idea of Rex getting thrown off the ground.
I did. I came up with it. I played with like the toy soldiers all my life as a kid, and my favorites were the parachute troopers that you could get at like the dollar store that have this stupid plastic bag attached to them. And I asked you if I could like be introduced parachuting from the sky, and you went, yes, absolutely.
And that sounds about right.
Please do that.
It was so long ago I don't really remember, but it was the most exciting introduction idea, and I'm glad that it went good. Even though it made Az have to sit and wait to be introduced. Surely that didn't happen to anyone else in this campaign.
No.
No. Nah. Not in this episode, at least. And yeah, I think NPC-wise, you guys met Turnip and Onion, of course. And you
Jimmy.
technically met a ceramic sentinel, but you didn't get their name. But it was the one that was injured by the squirrel, and while that sentinel never appeared again, you guys did end up meeting that character's replacement in episode 9 or 10, if I'm remembering correctly. So that was fun. And of course, you guys met the Tamagotchi, who was one of my favorite NPCs. I feel like I really wish I could remember, but the Tamagotchi was... Someone had suggested it to me. I cannot remember for the life of me who, but someone had mentioned a Tamagotchi, and then the idea of it being like the Sage of the Garden was too
That
good.
would be me.
And see, that sounds more and more right. And of course, as you all know now,
We were on a walk.
of course, where all the best ideas happen. Yeah, the Tamagotchi ended up being a lot more important than originally conceived, but of course, as you met it, it was the brave, wise sage.
I think the
Tamagotchi was really fun.
Yeah, I think the Tamagotchi ended up being one of my like all-time favorite NPCs. Something like the voice was amazing. Just the idea of this Tamagotchi being stuck in a rock, but like still working after like years enough for it to be stuck in a rock. I don't know. It's so funny.
I think sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, that was the end of it.
I just realized, I was thinking also part of it too, what was really funny was just like when you would ask these questions, and it's like this philosopher, this like semi-god to these people, and then you'd ask them and be like, I don't know, woof woof.
I
That's
will
crazy.
say
Wolf.
the voice for Tamagotchi was also one of my favorites, so I'm glad you said that, because it was one of the easiest to do consistently, because I just had to talk high pitch and just woof every few sentences without it being too often. That's like, holy shit, finish your sentence. So I'm glad that one was well received.
Yeah, no, I do think you paced it perfectly with the woofs, but it was really funny where it's like you'd have this conversation and it'd be like, you gotta find out, woof woof.
World's ending, woof woof.
Good luck.
Figure it out.
Yeah, so
I'm sending you to die. Good luck.
then you guys were kind of given your mission to, on the Tamagotchi's behalf, warn everyone of this dangerous gathering of the gods, which carries us right over into episode 2, unless anybody has any other thoughts on episode 1 they want to share.
You're
Don't think so.
awesome.
Perfect. I like that thought, Spencer. That's a good one. Okay. Chapter 2, Spreading Gossip. Obligatory thumbnail shoutouts. This one's so funny. There is no official art that I made for Winnie the Grapevine. I just did a very rough sketch and said, Ghedi, this is a character that is made of grapes. And this is now the only official interpretation of Winnie. And I love it. It's so funny.
The eyes are so silly.
The eyes are so silly. And I... Just complimenting the art here. I love how Ghedi did the actual like words. It's so high rendered. Like it looks like Ghedi just took a bottle of ketchup, sprayed out the words, and then took a picture.
Grape jelly.
Yeah, grape jelly.
Yeah.
I thought they were worms.
Yeah,
And
it
I
does look like worms.
I thought it was like a bunch of worms spelling out, and I was like, that's silly. I love that.
Yeah,
Worm
to me they
jam.
look like Adventure Time title cards.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Just across the board.
No, that was the vision, 100%. I told Ghedi I want these to look like Adventure Time cards. That's why I went to Ghedi, because Ghedi is, without a doubt, the most incredible artist I know at making things that are like so hyper rendered, which is what I think of when I think of Adventure Time, because they're all so like crazy, like painted. Ghedi just, I don't know how Ghedi makes things look 3D so well, but it's a genuine talent. So I knew I needed
Ghedi is also very, very talented at mimicking styles.
Yes.
Which is incredible. Like that is pretty much what they have done their whole life. So they've kind of perfected it. So if you give them anything and say, "Hey, can you make this in the style of this show?" It's done and it's
done.
perfect.
It's so good. there's not too much going on here. You know, it's just the words and then Winnie looking a little suspicious, but it's so cute. It's so fun. Dee did a great job. So, episode 2. Little recap for you is the best that I can remember. You guys went with Turnip, pretty sure it wasn't Onion, to the post office to go get a special message sent to the other end of the garden about the gathering. And you also were informed that you can also get word through the grapevine, which I will say now, I was so proud of this NPC, just because I knew how many jokes we could make from that. And of course you found out that the grapevine is not just a figure of thing, it's a literal person, the name of a gossip who is made out of grapes and vines. And so while you went around, I believe this episode you guys went to the Ant Hill Hotel to try and make a very mass reservation. Everything kind of came to a screeching halt when you saw the messenger bird carrying your mail got shot out of the sky. And our episode ended with most of the group running to go investigate, while Sergeant Rex investigated the strange figure that he felt was following you guys, which turned out to be Winnie. And that was pretty much episode 2. Like, a lot happened in the first few episodes. Yeah, that was all episode 2, if I'm remembering correctly.
So much happens every episode where I'm just like,
I'm trying to give you guys like the spark notes to jog your memory of like moments you were excited about and whatnot. So
I almost killed Winnie.
Yes, you did.
I almost killed her with her words.
Well, that was episode 3. That was episode 3. We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, and chapter 2.
You did. That was crazy.
Chapter 2 ends with Rex going into the bush, weapon out, and seeing Winnie. While the rest
Every
of you...
time Rex got to use the gun.
I mean,
oh, good.
He's a green gun guy. He had to.
It was so funny though. Where it was, what was it? There was one time I think we were like, Rex, get the gun.
There were a few good times like that.
Most of the time, it was telling me not to get the gun.
Yeah, there was a lot of. Please put the weapon away.
Put the gun down. Leave it.
Chapter 2. Favorite moments, regrets.
I think we did really good, actually. I think we stayed true to it and just being like, oh, we were pretty good on like figuring out our mission, like where to go and what to do. Like we had plans.
Yeah,
no plans fell apart at this point.
I will say,
yeah, not at this point.
It was a big thing on my end that like the premise of this campaign was there's a gathering in 7 days, players have to stop it. But a big point was I'm not going to tell them how. If they ask NPCs, they will get ideas. I will have ideas in case they're like, what do we do? But you guys kind of hit the ground running pretty great, like sending off some mail, like going around to local like spots where you could hopefully, you know, try to get some people to like stick around and whatnot. Like you guys had your bases pretty well covered with very minimal prompting, so very well done, I'll say.
You told us we had to basically save our world, and we said, God, how do we talk to all of these people? Because I think realistically that would be the issue. If you had to go tell like a city or something and you're not like the mayor, if you're not Mom Donnie, what are you gonna do? Like,
yeah, we
it's
all
like, how are you?
Shut up, around.
Yeah, all of our characters also had very little to no connections individually, so we had to ask people, because Rex was just born, Aja just woke up and was the only one who did. Ozzy was an outcast for like a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ozzy was so fun though. I love your little like tent next to the car.
Yeah.
I think Patches had Jimmy, but even then it was like, what's he gonna do?
You have one hyperactive friend.
I have one hyperactive friend that I will die for, yes.
I did like in this one, you guys went out of your way because you had bumped into Jimmy a couple times when you went to the Ant Hill Hotel, that you guys had to, you weren't really allowed to like book all the rooms in advance, except for the one exception was that you guys needed one for Jimmy set aside already.
I was so terrified at every moment that you were just gonna kill him.
Oh, and I'm not really sure why.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, don't worry.
Once
we get to episode, to chapter 3, actually, the next one, we'll remember why.
Yeah, it was just every moment I was like, I have to protect the. Well, because we all had session zeros, and Jimmy was like, when Patches came to life, that's was who I met in my
Almost
session
all.
0.
Actually, only Patches and Aja got session zeros.
Oh, okay. Well, sucks for you, I guess.
Damn.
I don't know what else
didn't
to say. Sorry, guys. But no, that's who Patches met in their session 0. So I immediately was like, and this is my best friend forever, actually.
Absolutely.
So I was just constantly afraid. I was like, you're gonna kill him. he's not coming home. And I wasn't gonna let that happen. And
Fair.
I did not. I got him.
You got your boy.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, that, like, even in the one later episode where we almost got assassinated.
It happens. Well, it's kind of feeling, I think a lot did happen in chapter 2, which makes it kind of hard to remember. And the general theme of it was spreading the word. But I think we'll have a few more stories veering into chapter 3. Shall we move along?
Oh, actually, I just one more thing about chapter 2. I
Please.
think with Winnie, it was oh god, she was like following us, right? Like that's how Rex was like, "There's a noise in the bushes. I'm gonna kill it."
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Okay, that was also very fun because I think because you set up the reputation of Winnie prior to this too, so we were like, guys, this might not work, which I think was very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just having that of being like, we have really no other option other than a letter and this potentially severely untrustworthy source. But we know that she's fast and it's good enough.
And she's good
So
at
we just
spreading gossip.
So we're like, yeah, sure, this works. So I think that was also a very fun, like, I mean, she'll do it.
I think incorporating Winnie was definitely like, it was such a good plan that we just kind of like put together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like that there just exists this character who is literally just like kind of hated. They just talk a lot to everyone. And we were like, that's that's like the linchpin of our plan.
That's who
That's
we
our
need.
guy. And then it's like, we were like, how do we find her? And she's just like literally tracking us and already starting shit with us. That was But yeah, no, I think that I just was trying to remember. I was like, was she like literally just like following us around? And then Rex was like, I'm gonna kill the noise in the bushes, which is crazy because from Winnie's perspective, that has to be so wild. She's like, it's finally caught up to me.
Yeah, and I mean 100%. But at the same time, she was doing some on the field investigation of who this green guy is that just rolled into town on the back of a squirrel. So.
I forgot it was on the back of a squirrel. We really were just anytime there was a woodland creature, we were like, guys, we gotta ride it.
Hit the ground running.
Rex for sure did.
Cool.
I mean, I feel like that's a given when you're given the opportunity to be small. It's just like anything that I cannot, as a human, possibly ride, I'm going to ride.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
this is
have
now-
to
this is now
try.
Thank you, Aaron. Exactly. You get it 100%. Okay.
Everything is transportation.
So, you
Yeah.
guys did. Rex pulled up on Winnie, and you guys pulled up on that fallen bird. And that took us into chapter 3, titled Over the Fence. So, once again, this, I think, it's really hard to say if this is in my top 3 of Gardenia thumbnails, 100%. I love this one so much. This one gives me, like, Ed Nettie in like a weird way. But I love this one. It's so cute. I don't know. Did a great job. The one thing about this thumbnail that does kind of make me chuckle and laugh is that the fence in Gardenia is iconically, in every reference in the show, white. So this, I don't know.
It's more menacing this way.
Yeah, there's a little bit of liberty taken here, and I did tell Didi that. I was like, oh yeah, it's in the backdrop of the show. It is a white fence, but it's okay. It doesn't matter because it turned out so cool.
There's
It's okay. It's
of the fence that's just brown because they haven't gone around.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
This is the part that they hadn't repainted. Okay, head canon. Take off the head. That's now canon. Thank you.
I was gonna say literally when I lived at my old house and the neighbors behind us, we shared a fence and they wanted a new one. So like 2 inches away, they just built a new one.
That's hilarious. That was
Instead of being like, hey, can we take this down? They just built a new one.
So in the laws of Gardenia, that would be like a whole separate realm, and then there's just this like scary line in between.
Just the grand line.
Yeah, exactly. Now, which speaking of the rules of Gardenia and how that magic works, this chapter was very much planned in. This was one of the ones where I like what was going to happen was most planned out. Like this was a canon event because upon creating this concept, I asked myself, what happens if they leave the garden? And everything that happened in this chapter was my answer to that question to make sure that the players all knew the answer. So, quick recap. The players get to the fallen bird while Rex brings over Winnie. They do a little bit of scolding. Patches almost ruins their chances of working with Winnie, but Aja saves the day, as we mentioned earlier.
Listen.
And a very kind turtle offers to take the bird off of everyone's hands until they find the projectile that knocked the bird down was a piece of turtle shell. Actually, that was actually the end of episode of chapter 2.
That's what I thought, but I thought it was episode 3, so
No,
I was just
you're
gonna
right.
rock with it.
They transitioned so like seamlessly, so I'm blurry. But yeah, so I guess at this point, you guys actually already knew that you had to go and catch that turtle, who, despite being a turtle, was actually quite fast. Tried to climb over the fence in an encounter that was very planned out, which you guys almost completely threw off course, but it still worked out where the turtle and the bird and an unplanned Jimmy ended up on the other side of the fence to show you guys what happens, which is that if you leave Gardenia, you lose the magic and you just lose sentience, which does not bode well for anyone in the situation. That's what happened in this one.
We really power friendshiped this episode.
Yeah.
But I think going back to episode 2, even the end of it, the reveal of like, oh, it's a piece of turtle shell is like one of my like top 10 what? Like,
What?
it's a turtle shell and there's a turtle going the opposite direction. The fuck did you just say to me? So that was very fun of just being like, oh shit, guys.
I said what I said. I was pretty proud of that. That setup I think went very nicely. Yeah, I will quickly just explain kind of what was originally supposed to happen here, because the turtle was supposed to just get to the top of the fence, kind of like taunt you guys, and then was either going to jump or just throw the bird over. But it didn't get that high up because you guys were rolling so well, and I'm 99% sure it was you, Ren, as Ozzy. You rolled like a critical success with one of your spells to knock the turtle down.
I was about to ask who did it. I think we shot it out of the sky.
Yeah, it was either the ice spike, or it was the power push. I forget which one because I
Probably
I
ice
spammed
spike.
both of them so much.
It was one of them.
Because I think we were asking about like. Because I think we used power push later on the other side of the fence or something, or like
On a bunch of different things.
I think it was when the turtle was on the fence. I think he used power push to try and push it down.
I think it was like
Or
ice
use
spike to
both.
push underneath it,
Mm.
like generate it under its shell. I don't remember. It's been like a year.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. The moral of the story was you used magic and rolled so good that you threw off what I had planned and caused the turtle and the bird to fall. So, well, I mean, you can laugh all you want, but like I said, I had a canon event. I needed to show you guys what happened. And so I decided I would use Jimmy as a scapegoat and throw him into harm's way. Had Jimmy, who naturally is a good-hearted person, so this felt quite in character. You probably wouldn't have even guessed this wasn't planned. Saw 2 Gardenians falling from the sky, so he ran at them at full force to try and catch them. And he tumbled a little too far and got on the other side of the
Dumb
fence.
bastard.
And I think
I was
this
like
was
willing
the
to
first
kill
time.
Patches for this.
Yeah, this was the first time I instilled fear into the characters, which, you know, I will say I'll thank you, players, because, you know, if the turtle and bird had gone to the other side and you'd seen them losing their life, that still would have been stressful. But instead, you allowed me to throw a beloved NPC into that situation instead, which I think actually made it a lot better of a reveal for you guys. So thank you.
I think it opened up a lot of good story points too, and just I don't know, it moved along very well, and you rocked with it very well.
Yeah, again, I was so happy I was able to cover that up pretty quickly, but then it did lead to the very tense. I think the most like tense sequence in the whole series of you guys all having to try and pull these three, because Jimmy was there too. All three, Jimmy, the turtle, and the bird, all back onto the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
The way we made to pull that off was absolutely crazy, and
Trying to come up with a plan quickly, awful.
yeah,
A good plan.
Didn't Rex nearly die?
Yes.
yeah, kind of like go over. We're like, don't do that, please.
And
We
stopped
had to,
Patches from dying, because Patches
Patches
was gonna run right into the other side, and it was Rex that stopped Patches and rolled a very good strength check to do so.
Yeah, I was like, no hesitation, this is my boy, I'm going. I think it was good though, because that was when it was like, how far does this magic actually reach? Because we tied ourselves together.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did a Guardians of the Galaxy. We all held the Power Stone.
Gardenia of the Galaxy.
I used my ribbon, and we went as far as we possibly could.
Yeah.
And I think that was in fact the move, because it worked out sort of. We saved everybody.
The final of the amulet giving off that little bit of power was just insane to me.
I won't lie, you guys were kind of aura farming, functioning as a circuit of the energy to keep it going outside the barrier, just through physical contact. You guys kind of ate that up. But I want to say,
did you think of that at all?
It was something that I just kind of knew could happen. I didn't think it was going to there though, because I had no idea what you guys were going to try and do. Because there were a few options, but you guys ruled out the obvious things that wouldn't work pretty quickly. So it just made sense. You guys tapped into your power of friendship. And I wasn't going to let you all just lose sentience in chapter 3. That's the bad ending. But speaking of bad endings, you guys have said this incorrectly a couple times. Sheldon, whoever that turtle used to be, fully gone. I think this gets said later on, but whoever that turtle was, yep, gone, fully reset, new soul, new everything. So yeah, you guys did not save the turtle, but it's also not your fault the turtle ended up there technically. So yeah, just to make that very clear, you guys saved Jimmy and the bird, not whoever that turtle was before. That could have
not who it was before, but he's
got
alive.
Sorted.
The body's alive.
He got ferned.
Yeah. Literally. That's actually, wow, so many Adventure Time comparisons. Yeah, unfortunately, whoever Sheldon was before, he's gone.
Yeah.
We need a little side story that shows us who Sheldon was, and that'll make us either love or hate this decision to replace him.
Yeah.
Hey, it wasn't your fault, because whoever Sheldon was before was corrupted by a mysterious source that at this point we were unsure of what. But I think you guys did in this clock that the glowing pink eyes and the turtle were similar to the squirrel from chapter 1.
Yeah,
most animals don't have glowing pink eyes.
Yeah. So this was the first, or I guess the second piece of that puzzle starting to come together. So you guys really crushed that, got to the other side of the fence with everyone at least alive, even if they weren't who they used to be. And I'm pretty sure this one also ended on a good old cliffhanger as well, with that big old kitty cat.
Meow. I think also, I'm trying to remember. Nope, I'm stupid. Anyways.
Sweet. Yeah, and so this that went again right into chapter 4. The first 4 episodes are very, very back to back. Which, when you think about it, I'm pretty sure at least chapters 1 through 4, it might be 5 too, I can't remember, are all just the first day. And for Rex, it's the first day of being alive. For Aja, it's the first day of being awake. It's a pretty eventful time. But yes, then we get into chapter 4, which is titled Princess Playtime. This is one of the other contenders for top 3 Gardenia thumbnails to me. I love this one so much. It's so cute. Didi just went crazy with this one.
Yep.
Please go ahead.
I cannot imagine that this was intentional, but every time I look at this thumbnail, I can never stop thinking about the fact that ever so coincidentally, this character shares the name and also looks identical to a cat in Warrior Cats.
Zero chance.
There is a cat named Princess who looks exactly like this, same markings, same eye color, also is a house cat. And every time I look at it, I'm just like, this is the funniest thing ever.
Please send
it's so
please
cute.
Send that to me.
Send it to me, Rachel.
Yeah, this one was super cute. I just love how Didi drew Princess, and I just like the little the text here. I don't know. I love it. It's so shiny. It's perfect for the Princess of Gardenia, who of course was the encounter of the episode. This chapter was essentially just one long encounter of you guys chasing / getting chased by Princess the cat, who is the house cat that roams the garden and is feared as the Princess of Gardenia, a tyrannical ruler who sometimes just picks people up in their mouths. In this episode, I believe it was Patches.
Yup, I did almost get murdered by the cat.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
That was so fun. All of the fights in this were so just fun. Like I wasn't stressed. I was stressed, but I wasn't. It was just they were very fun to fight in addition to. Yeah, but they were just fun to fight in addition to it wasn't just all right, we have to fight this thing to move on. It was no, I like this. I want to engage with this and figure out silly ways and creative ways to fight this.
Yeah, that we ended up having to fight was such an interesting concept, but it still fits so well in the theme of a garden,
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think it was also too because it was a lot of them we weren't fighting to kill, we were just fighting to get away.
Mm-hmm.
So with Princess it was how do we do a bunch of damage to this cat but we don't kill it? Because in I don't know, maybe that's meta, but we were all just no, this is a cat.
This is
can't just
one of the gods' pets. If we kill it, bad things will happen.
Yeah, we had as characters, we were guys, we actually can't kill the fucking princess, but we do need to get out of here right now. Didn't we ride the cat? Rex, yes. Did you get on the cat?
Yeah.
Rex was climbing.
And then that happened again. Rex rode on the back of Princess multiple times.
Yeah.
If I had a nickel,
I tied a rope around them like an AT.
Like reins.
No, like an AT-AT.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
That's a Star Wars reference.
Oh, okay. Never mind, I do know this.
On the planet of Hoth, the little planes go around in a circle around the AT-AT's leg and trip them, and that's what I tried to do. I don't know if I managed to do that.
I don't recall.
I do not remember.
I don't recall. I don't remember the running really coming to a halt at any point in this chapter, so I don't think that happened. But I do believe there was an attempt. You guys tried a lot of stuff to try and get this cat to chill out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think we.
There you go.
Little crew.
It was. I think the entire episode was us fighting this cat.
Yeah, the narratively nothing really happened. You guys just. Had to get chased around.
But it was so awesome.
Cat. This was a breather. I won't say it was less stressful than the previous one, but at least in terms of, you're watching people watch the life drain out of their bodies versus cat's chasing us. This was
It was our break.
Yeah, this was more of a
one fight to another. Except this time, you only have to avoid getting eaten by a cat.
Exactly, and all it really did was. Waste your guys' time, because then by the time you thwarted it by hiding in a bush, you had just ended up on the other end of the garden and left Jimmy and the bird who you just saved way back.
And then we were like, oh shit, guys, we gotta go back for the...
And that was where that chapter came to a conclusion. So yeah, again, because it was just a big long chase sequence, that there's not too much to say. But if you guys again have any more little anecdotes, please feel free to interject. Otherwise, we can just move on to episode 5, where the story kind of really picks back up.
I'm good to go.
Sweet. Awesome. So, of course, after escaping Princess, you guys caught back up to your friends who were still recovering from the aftermath of Chapter 3, which brings us to Chapter 5, A New Shell, which was, this one here is the one and only thumbnail that I had to do myself. If I recall correctly, Ghedi was sick, or just, like, MIA. For whatever reason, Ghedi wasn't able to complete this thumbnail. I'm pretty sure they were sick. But I mean, the nice part is that I did all the sketches, so I was able to pull it together. But the trouble was trying to make a thumbnail that, in a lineup with the rest that Ghedi made, would still look good. And that was the troublesome part. But I'd like to say I think I did okay. I think it turned out pretty nice.
It looks beautiful. Yeah. All of the thumbnails just fit so well with the episode, which sometimes I think can be difficult, where it's like, hey, what do we pick from this? And I think they all captured all of them very well.
Well, thank you. I did try, and this is also your kind of official look at Sheldon. That's he's just a little handsome turtle guy who doesn't remember.
Isn't real anymore.
He doesn't remember anything, and so of course that's where this chapter picks up. We'll jump right into that little recap. Of course, you guys kind of get back to the scene of the commotion, and yeah, Sheldon wakes up realizing that he doesn't remember anything. He doesn't remember having glowing pink eyes or throwing pieces of shell at birds and whatnot. The bird you guys had safely recovered, I believe, thanks to Ozzy, who stuck back to do some healing. Jimmy was fine, of course. But yeah, you guys kind of found out that this turtle has no memory of the crazy stuff that was just going on, and this chapter is really kind of a blur because this was very roleplay heavy. But I know you guys took Sheldon to the Tamagotchi, and that's actually where he got the name Sheldon. It was from the Tamagotchi, and I believe at this point you guys kind of made the Tamagotchi aware of what had happened with Sheldon prior to going over the fence. So you alerted the big old sage of Gardenia about glowing pink eyes, a strange disturbance. And you ended this episode following up back to chapter 3, because you agreed to meet up with Winnie. In chapter 5, you ended it by meeting up with Winnie at Bite-Sized Diner, to kind of figure out where you're going to go from there. But then you guys got a tip about something that might be going on up in the kingdom of Apiaria in a way that, if you could help, might earn you some very, very strong influence that you'll need for your mission. So there you go. I was like, what happened in this chapter? But the more I spoke, the more I remembered. So yeah, you helped Sheldon figure out who's going to be now, and got the setup for your next little side quest. So yeah, chapter 5.
Jumping so, but I loved, like I said earlier, the interactions between Patches and oh my god, Winnie the grapevine.
Oh yeah. Every time I saw her, it was like I was possessed. I was playing Patches, but I think this is what I meant when I was like, oh, I ruined Patches' character with this. Patches was supposed to be a lovable, very sweet character, and then at the moment someone was kind of abrasive, I said no. Which is dumb. There was no reason for me to be doing all that, but
truthfully, I felt like it was such a good call because, I don't know, Winnie's such an opposite of who Patches is, Patches is very open, very connected with everyone, and Winnie doesn't really seek that connection, just more so that I don't know, that drama bit of oh, did you hear? I'll share with you, So I feel like it made a sense to have that conflict there.
I think it was also like so many. I mean, I know we were all like kind of suspicious of her, but everyone was so ready to be like, "That's our option, I guess." And I was just like, "No, I hate her. No, I don't. I don't trust her. I never will. And we're only here because we have to be."
And that is exactly how you were meant to interact with her. I will say that I wasn't expecting Winnie's just like sheer presence to rage bait you so hard, but I mean it was.
We've established how easy I am to rage bait, though. I feel like
If only there was like a game show where we just like did something with that.
yeah, if only. Too bad it'll never happen.
It'll never happen. So, yeah, my big takeaway from this episode was that you guys really liked Bite Size Diner.
It was so cool, though. It was so fun.
You just forget all the turtle stuff. Sheldon, he's just gonna like get a job as an accountant or something. Diner.
We were trying to save the world. There was a lot to do.
Diner named Bite Sized. I think that was the pinnacle of my creations for this campaign. And I think there was a little running gag about how like they serve like normal milkshake flavors, but their most popular is a dirt milkshake, and if you get anything other than dirt, you're a weirdo.
Yep. It's on the menu, but it's like, why would you eat that?
Why would you eat that? People who eat dirt. Yeah, and I feel like we gotta talk about the little lore hint you guys got, because this is where Winnie tells you guys that someone's threatening to kill the queen of Apiaria, which is, you know, where all the bees come from, and thus Ozzy. And
Hi.
we got a nice little moment towards the end where you guys started to talk about how you'd plan to do that, and kind of poked and poked until you realized that Ozzy seemed to be going about this planning as if they had no intention to join you whatsoever. What was going through your mind there, Ren? Because I don't believe you were given warning that this was going to be coming at you.
Me and Leaf talked a lot about Ozzy's backstory. I didn't write anything down.
The walks are where the magic happens.
The walks are where the magic happens, but then the magic happens, and my brain is like, "It happened. Cool. We're on the same page." Nothing's written down. Shit.
Yep.
I had to be like, why is Ozzy a bee not in the bee kingdom? Oh, because only like the big bee can do the magic. And Ozzy's an inventor who uses magic. Ozzy's a criminal.
Hell yeah.
Fugitive.
We came up with that quite late into the game. I'll also give some insight that while you guys were in Bite Sized, I had the players make rolls to kind of, I don't know, I call it like a context roll to like tell us how, like, what do they remember about this place, except for Rex, obviously, and Ren was the only one that I think got a roll with fear, and whatever the roll was, we had agreed together as a table that would mean that they attributed a sour memory to this place, but we didn't share what it was. And then I think like in DMs, while we were still going, we decided that Ozzy was at Bite Sized when they got the news.
Which is really funny in context of the game. Like, imagine being like, hey, we're gonna meet this potentially suspicious person at the place that you only have horrible memories, and you basically got fired and exiled at last time.
Yep.
We're gonna make it worse.
But it also is so unfitting for Ozzy's character, because Ozzy isn't the type of person who would say, "Oh, I'm not gonna go in there. I associate bad things." Ozzy's on a need-to-know basis.
Their pancakes are still great.
Yeah, exactly.
The dirt cakes, guys, you can't beat them.
Just because I got the trespassing warning doesn't mean the pancakes don't slap.
Exactly. So yeah, and from there we kind of set up what the next couple chapters were going to be about, which is code for I was going to pry hard into Ozzy's backstory, because I believe it was at the very end of this chapter that Ozzy revealed the truth, which is that they are a fugitive.
Yeah.
And yet, the adventure had to go on. So unless we have any final thoughts about chapter 5, we can joggle on to chapter 6.
Let's get chugging.
Awesome. So this does take us now into chapter 6, titled Ascent to Apiaria.
Whoa, I know this one.
Yeah.
I know this one also. Yep. Thumbnail analysis again. That's apiaria. It's a bunch of beehives. I think there might have been a little bit of like, I think this one got a little lost in translation because I think Didi read my sketch as it being a bunch of beehives in a cave almost, when it was supposed to be the tree that it's in. I don't know how you guys interpret this one, but to me, I was like, is this a cave?
That was my first thought, but
yeah, I don't know if it was just the way they colored it, but I was like, maybe they didn't get the context. They also fully forgot the words ascent to originally when they first sent it to me, so it just said chapter 6, apiaria, and I was like, nice, we're missing a couple pieces of the title here. But we got there in the end. Yeah, this one's cute. It's nice. It shows you and tells you where we're going for this next chapter of the adventure.
whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Now what happens in this one? Well, it started with an ambush. You guys got attacked by an intruder in the dead of night while crashing at Jimmy's place, who was defeated way sooner than I planned, but again, you guys were rolling like crazy, and you identified as a bug of some sort. I don't believe you got the specific species. But this assailant kind of made a really snarky remark about, you're not going to be able to stop the assassination, which confirmed to you guys that there was indeed someone planning an assassination. And kind of had to speed up your travels. So as dawn broke in the garden, y'all headed up to Gardenia. Ozzy had to make a very heartbreaking sacrifice and put the iPad down, go no tech on this mission. And then you guys got to ascend to Apiaria, and Ozzy got to return to their home kingdom. You all got to see what it was like because we had a whole custom Apiaria set prepared. Ba-boom, of course, because I wanted to go all out for this. And finally, you guys got to have a chance to speak one-on-one with the Queen of Apiaria, who was, of course, played by Aaron over here.
Yay!
Aaron, tell us about how that came to be. How did you end up here?
So one day, if memory serves me right, I got a little message from my friend Leaf. I don't remember if it was a message or if it was a call, but it said, "Hey, you want to be a special guest in my campaign?" And I said, "Oh my god, yes." And I was told the gist, I believe, about what the character, like who the character would be. I believe all I was told pretty much was what vaguely went down in the last episodes, and also what the deal was, that she is the queen of the hive, and that's about it. I knew about Ozzy's backstory, and I was told, create the name, create the design, go crazy, and thus she was born. And I love her.
And she was awesome. Yeah, I don't remember really. There wasn't a specific reason why I was like, I need this NPC to be played by a person, but it was just like, I wanted Amalthea for her presence to really, really be significant and noticed. And I was like, I don't know, if I bring someone else in to do that, that will, that'll definitely get some attention, because every other NPC in this campaign is just me. And I don't think there was any particular, like, Aaron hadn't ever been like, oh, I wish I could be in Gardenia. It was nothing like that. It just made sense. Like, there was no one else in mind. If Aaron had said no, then I would have just done it.
To be fair, I think I definitely had also talked about how much I loved Gardenia, and every time I would see, like, clips of it being sent or just talk of it, I would be like, man, I wish I was in this one. It's so fun. So it was such an honor to be able to come in and to be able to create the character and kind of go my own direction with her. Designing her was super fun. I'm very happy with how her design came out. I think she's beautiful.
She's gorgeous, mama.
And yes, she is named after the last unicorn, the truth come out. But yeah, she was the best. Also, I wasn't it was so much fun, and I think hopefully I did okay. But it was a very scary thing, not just because I was guest starring, which is just scary in itself because it's so much pressure to be like, oh my god, I'm the guest, I have to be perfect. But also, it's very, it was a difficult role to get into just because this was a character that very specifically is there to give the team info and that is supposed to know a lot. So to like come in and have to remember a bunch of stuff and just improv a bunch of information I might know was very scary, but I think hopefully I did it okay.
Genuinely,
what do you think?
You played Amalthea so well. Like, the instant you showed up, you just had this, like, presence. I was like, yes, that's Queen right there. You know?
Wow.
And the way that you interacted with Aja, giving all this info, because there were so many, like, or was that even in this episode, or was it in the next episode? Or not?
It was...
I think there was a little bit in here, because there were so many moments in this one. Of course, you bring Aaron into a project and suddenly the rating changes from everyone to teen. Because there's like, Amalthea's like, oh, come with me to my private quarters. And everyone was like, whoa. And then we had to be like, hey, that's...
Okay. Yeah. I think first of all, as I said at the beginning, I owe a lot to Lee for giving me so much to work with, which was wonderful. I think in general, Aja is just such a cool, interesting character, and the backstory and all the lore with it is super cool. But just having Lee there to just like take the lead on conversations and actually like ask me questions, so I didn't have to just kind of push everyone to do it, was very lovely. But the one thing that was very interesting too that I don't remember if I ever shared was that Leaf pretty much told me I could play her however I wanted. So I could have made her an asshole 100%. And it was kind of a toss-up on how I should play her, but especially after learning like what had happened so far and Aja's connection to the gods and whatnot, I was like, no, I know exactly what she needs to be, but yeah, I did have full freedom to just do whatever I wanted for her, so she totally could have just been like, no, screw you guys, bye.
Yeah, I knew what the information she would hold would be and what it would mean, but I told, like, you know, when you're asking someone to come in and play a specific character, it's not like, hey, come up with a character for this setting and you will be in this one session. It was very finite. This is an important role that I need you to fill. You know, like Aaron said, it's very daunting to be like, wow, there was so much already said and decided. So the one thing I could do was let Aaron, come up with the design, come up with the name and the personality. I felt it was fair that Aaron gets to decide how this queen acts, and I will say, I think your choice was a good one, because, given with what this side plot was really about, which was an Aussie story, making the queen so nice and empathetic, I think almost to me it was like, this would make the whole conflict with Aussie confusing. Why would someone so benevolent cast someone out, which of course there was really great payoff to, but we'll talk about that in chapter 7. But I think that choice was really, really, really good. So yes, you did.
Yeah, and that's honestly what I was kind of going for. Because when you told me about the stuff with Ozzy, I was like, okay, interesting. So there are ways I could go with this where it is very much like only I can have power and I'm the strongest, I have all the magic and yada yada. But then thinking more about, how things could go with Ozzy and also how everything could go with Aja and Aja's tribe being missing and all that. I think the best thing to do would be to make her a lot nicer, especially because you know it would, like you said, it would make things very complicated for Ozzy, especially when they see just how much she's helping Aja specifically, just like this outsider, how much she's immediately just like, yeah, let's do it, let's save this all together. So
Whatever you
very,
need,
it was very
random
fun.
person. I think it was
Yeah,
awesome.
you have magic and are the same, follow the same god I do.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. Yeah. So everyone else, let's just get into reactions, because I did tell the players that there would be a special guest. I like made a public service announcement. I said, hey, there is going to be a guest player. I'm not telling you who it is or when you'll see them, but there will be someone joining us at some point. That is all I told them. So they had no idea that it was going to be in this episode or that it was going to be the Queen. And the reactions we heard in that episode were live, they were authentic, and oh my god, they were so funny. Ren's, I think, was my favorite, which was, "You motherfucker!"
Yeah, because I'm a criminal and my friend is my executioner.
Yep.
Lol.
Again, that's
Yeah,
vindicating my decision to have someone else play that role.
Was this also the introduction of Monkey D. Ozzy?
Yes, it was. Which, feel free to elaborate on that real quick for anyone who might not remember.
Oz, in going into, you know, the place where he's banned and not supposed to be, decided, I'm gonna disguise myself. I'm gonna get a hat.
I was about to say the someone with the big hat where Amalthea's just
So
like,
good.
hey.
Just a big hat and is not gonna look up.
Yeah. That was beautiful.
Oz for a bee, they are small.
That's so awesome.
I
Wasn't
That was
Amalthea
awesome.
literally just like, yeah, I know who you are, dude?
don't even remember. I don't remember,
Or
honestly.
maybe it wasn't that. Maybe
I
you were
don't
just
think
like,
so.
hey, you're good. I think it was you didn't know, but you've learned
Because
the story and we're
yeah,
like,
oh yeah, totally. And I think I actually can't remember how I can't remember quite what we decided, but I actually can't remember. I feel like we had talked about that Amalthea wouldn't recognize Ozzy
Yeah.
if she saw them.
No, because that was the whole... That was definitely it, because I feel like for sure the thought process there was she doesn't remember, so she isn't aware of the impact that law she set had on other people.
Yeah. Which again really plays into like the very morally like, oh, what do I think about this character?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Moral
Yeah, it was a fun time.
complexity.
it was such a fun episode. I think the whole of Apiaria was just like such a cool little environment.
Oh, so good.
And I
for,
love
like, yeah.
the Ozzy come out, you know, instead of just being like the brains of like the pack, being able to like delve into the storyline was really cool.
One hundo P. One hundo P. I was very excited to get to show you guys more of Ozzy. Because I mean, like,
Hey, that's me.
it wasn't really like you know, we weren't talking or thinking about it much throughout the campaign, but we did set up in episode 1 that Patches has some connection to a gathering of the gods, and Aja, you know, feels like, especially in this arc, finds out that there's like a prophecy, they've got to do this. Rex is just here for the vibes, but it was fun to I wanted to take this time to really get into like Ozzy and like why do they do what they do, and how the fuck did they become a fugitive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I really liked about this section, I guess, of the story, as you would call it, is just that it was very much like Apiaria was totally set up to be Ozzy's thing. Like, you are going to the place you are banished from, you are going to be face to face with the person who banished you, and you have no idea how she's gonna act. So I think it's really interesting that we were able to take something that was so set for one character and also be able to focus a lot on Aja as well.
Absolutely.
Like that was just such a neat. I don't know. I really like how it's very split like that.
I
It was
appreciate
very well
that.
balanced.
Because this was
Yeah.
fully, it was fully written. Just it was written like it was for Ren. Because making sure every player gets, some moment that is about them was like essential to me. And while Ozzy's story I knew wouldn't really tie into the overarching plot, I knew we could do something. The fact that it also worked really great with Ozzy's was just magical. And I can't remember, Aaron, if that was you or me, because I feel like it was like because giving Amalthea the amulet, the same one that
Yes.
Aja has. I don't remember if how we thought of that.
I don't. The only thing I remember, I think we kind of brainstormed that part together and like the connection because we also had figured out that like she would have in some ways known the cicadas before they disappeared.
Right. Yes.
But I'm fairly certain at the beginning, all you told me was that I would have, Amalthea would have a prophecy to deliver for
Yes,
Aja about
yes,
the
yes,
cicadas, and then I think everything else we just kind of were like, all right, well, how else can we make this interesting?
Yeah, and it
And it
fell into
worked. We
place
did it.
very, very nicely. I think we nailed it. And for the record, again, you also nailed it. You killed your role.
I was very nervous. I did my best.
You did so good though.
Ridiculously good. I was so
It was amazing.
surprised about how like easily it all flowed out. I was like, dang, that's season pro right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I
my
don't feel like one. So, and it was so nice to be able to have that connection, character to character with Aja, but also player to player with Yuli, because I believe that was the first time we had ever officially met.
Yeah, because like I lightly know of you from
Yes.
groupings, but
Yes, and we were at the same wedding. We were there, but never interacted. So this was the first time we ever sat down and spoke, and I felt like so it was very nerve-wracking going in and being like, "Oh my God, I don't just have to guess for like my best friends. I have to guess for this person that I know is so cool that I've never met before." So to be able to that I don't know, I feel like the chemistry just kind of worked immediately, and I immediately was like, okay, this is gonna be good.
Oh yeah.
and that's what I'm thankful that it was you who like took this role genuinely. Like it, like I said, was just so easy to be able to connect character to character, player to player, and just like I don't know. I wasn't feeling nervous about like, oh man, now I've got to like work and change my vibe or anything. Just incorporated so well into everything that we were already.
Yeah, it was perfect. I
That's so
think
beautiful.
we did great.
I think you guys did fantastic. I was so happy with how chapter 6 went, but this wasn't the end of your time as the queen at all. So why don't we mosey on along to chapter 7 with a quick note of that. Of course, we had to end chapter 6 with another one of my iconic cliffhangers as Aja says a prayer to Eukaria and hears the voice of their god tell them that now is the time to act because the kingdom's under attack, and it is in fact chapter 7, War of the Wasps, which I love this thumbnail. This one's so cool. It's just
So good.
It's so bright. It's so sharp that like the logo, I guess, like is super cool. DD shows really like high contrast colors and the swarm of wasps coming in, and of course our big bad in the front. I like this one. It's I don't know. It's effective to me.
Was this
Very.
was this before or after the assassination attempt on us?
This was after. You guys got.
This was after?
Yeah, it's as that was in the chapter 6 recap. That was at the
Okay.
very start of chapter 6.
Okay, sorry. I just feel like we did forget that we did like just stay at Jimmy. I think it was Jimmy's house.
I mentioned it in the recap.
Well, yeah, but I think it was quite literally. I think the way we woke up and that was just funny to me.
Yes, 100%. Because
That was it.
5 also ended on a cliffhanger. I'm pretty sure with the stranger knocking at the door. And yeah,
Mhm.
so we came into full force in chapter 7. Apiaria under attack by the wasps. The gang split up throughout the main hive kingdom, and then we had to get right into the action. We were introduced to an all-new villain who you know is important because I actually drew character art for them. Who had this big, giant, crazy helmet. Who was hell-bent on attacking the queen, only to be revealed that they were not a wasp at all, but a bee. The former advisor of Queen Amalthea, Andrenna, who had strangely sided with the wasps and has glowing pink eyes. Huge combat sequence where you guys had to fight off a whole bunch of wasps. It was very, very unorthodox. And in the end, defeat Andrenna, who was using magic technology, bringing into full front Ozzy's whole arc about if Ozzy was kicked out for a good reason, if there should be prohibition against magic use in this kingdom. And it came out into a incredibly well role-played scene between Ozzy, Amalthea, and then I believe myself as Andrenna. So juicy one in this. And of course it ends with Amalthea thanking you guys for the help and agreeing to help you with your big old speech to the garden. So yeah, let's talk about chapter 7.
Such a good one.
My ass got called out from the audience.
Audience participation. Forced audience participation.
Yeah, it's like sitting there and there's two people having like a fight and then one of them points to you and is like, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
Like,
Take a
I don't
side
know, I
right
just
now.
work here.
Nope, that's exactly what happened. That is exactly what I did to you.
Fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it
Putting
went...
a bee in the equivalent of a mech suit, crazy.
But it looked pretty
Yeah.
awesome, right?
Awesome.
It was awesome, but it was just it was basically being a mech suit, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
I could not tell you what my inspiration was there. It came to me in a dream.
As most of your best work does, I think.
Or on a walk.
Visions
as we
from
described.
God.
Yeah, literally visions from God. I was super happy with how Andrenna's design came together and the character. Yeah, spoiler alerts. That was something that Aaron and I had planned and written out. It was in writing. But I just told Aaron the backstory of who Andrenna was. I did not warn Aaron that she was going to come face to face with her former advisor.
Yes. That was not... Because I don't actually remember if... You gave me a recap on what happened, but as far as I know, the last thing I remember was... I believe all I was told was that they had gone to see the grapevine, and the grapevine told them that there was an attack being planned. I don't think I was told that they had been attacked.
Yes, I did not tell you that they had been attacked or that you were going to get attacked.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
if that's what you'd call it.
Yeah, no, it was very much like I should have expected it, in all fairness, but I don't know, in my head it was just like, oh well, I'm learning this lore about this character because, you know, when Amalthea has this big interaction with Ozzy again, then, you know, that's gonna be a thing that's in the air, and you can be like, hey, listen, magic is banned for a reason. I was not expecting to be attacked and thrown into combat, so
that is, again, just another aspect of it. This whole arc was to push forward the story of Ren's character. It ended up also helping in Lee's, but if I was gonna bring in another person, I was also going to make sure that our guest also got a fair share of getting surprised by having personal backstory elements thrown at them to confront their past.
awesome.
And I think it did go pretty awesome. And yes, Ozzy did have the very iconic moment of getting just called out in the middle of Andrenna's like propaganda spiel, which I thought was really funny.
A classic.
Yeah, to also add in and speak on the combat, I had access to nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ren couldn't access
I had
any of their shit.
I realized, oh hey, Ozzy didn't have a weapon other than a wand.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, can I get a weapon? And I was told, yeah. And I took a buckler shield because that was the only thing I could think of that would protect me at all.
Yep.
Because I have. So, for those who don't know how Daggerheart works, because that was the system we used, depending on the damage roll another creature does, equates to how much damage you take, like normal. In Daggerheart, you only have like 6 HP at the start. I think even less if you're a wizard. Me. We leveled up since that combat, so my sheet isn't accurate. Oz had the max damage threshold, meaning you take 3 damage, half your HP if, in this one hit, was 10.
Yeah.
Good times.
And I think I think what patches was like 20 something. Something like ridiculously like large. I got 10. 5 HP or 5 damage, I take 2 hit points.
Yup.
1 or higher. And I had an armor of 3 and an evasion of 12. I was squishy.
I think you were set up with like the ideal gear. I don't know. I think you were ready to go.
This is peak B performance.
Yeah. Hey, not only did you survive, you also were able to accidentally, inadvertently make an actual difference on the laws in the kingdom. So,
Yeah.
I
This
would
is
say
true.
peak B performance.
Bees are our nature's glass cannon. So
This is true. We normally die when we attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
But yeah, just I was forced into melee as a ranged spellcaster with no magic. That was scary.
Lord.
Yeah.
And it didn't go that badly.
Yeah.
I was really
Wow.
excited to see how you like were going to fight, knowing that your wand was just like left behind.
I think I attacked things with the buckler, like I clubbed people with it.
Mm-hmm.
Despite it being a very ineffective weapon, it was just there to try to deflect attacks.
Hey,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
okay. That's okay. You made it work. You guys got through like 50 wasps. So
Yeah, everyone was tanky and did a lot of damage.
there were some pretty good moments. There were some like WWE moves thrown out there, which was I took much enjoyment out of.
I believe correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Rex that ended up just shooting her out of the sky, to my knowledge.
Yeah, that
Yeah, that
sounds
makes
about
sense.
right. That sounds about right to me.
I believe it was like, I need my gun back now, gets the gun, immediately just shoots her dead.
Shoot, yeah, shoots out of the sky. At least
Sounds about right.
the mask was definitely shot first and broken, and we had the big old reveal. And I think it went very nicely. I think we were able to
Yeah.
tie all of those arcs together with a nice little bow, and just give everyone some nice little moments to shine. I think the little apiaria arc was
Mm-hmm.
everything I could have dreamed it to be and more. So I'm very glad, because it's
It was wonderful.
not every little story arc I'll make a whole new custom layout for. So I really wanted to make sure it had an impact on your guys' characters and stories, and I'd say that it was successful.
Very.
Very.
Absolutely.
And of course, you guys then gained the blessing of Amalthea to help you guys with your speech, which is where this chapter ends. Because as you guys gather the garden together, Aja and Amalthea share a vision of something to come. A terrifying, devastating calamity that both of them in this vision learn the name is Hedgebane.
So literally coolest thing ever. That like whole thing was just so sick.
it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
It was pretty
It
cool,
was
I
pretty
gotta
cool.
say.
So they get this prophecy. They realize that we got to test out these evacuation tactics a little bit early, because then we venture off into chapter 8. Of course, unfortunately, for the time being, we had to say farewell and see you soon to Queen Amalthea, because she had to go and prepare her kingdom for what was coming. Not that they really got to worry up in the trees, but everyone else had to get ready for the Wrath of Hedgebane, which is the title of chapter 8. Again, some thumbnail love here. I love this one. The other two that I said are in my top, which were chapter 3 and chapter 4. This one is fighting for that third spot, but it's in competition with it's one of the next few, but I'll remember when we get there. But I really like this one. I think Didi just did a good job of it. I mean, it's just Hedgebane's leg and the hedge cutter, but it's so imposing. It gives me like Attack on Titan, and I love it.
Oh yeah, it is awesome. And like the text, the font is just perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
It's so good.
this is serious. We're serious now.
This is the serious episode, and I think I even did a little gimmick on this one where I made the layout have like a overcast hue over it, just to show that we're in the scary times now. And
It gets very like slasher vibes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for that.
No, that's exactly what we're going for. So I'll give the quick recap again. So a hedge trimmer showed up to the garden to make sure it was ready for the gathering. But to the citizens of Gardenia who live in bushes, this means that their homes are just getting shredded up. So our cast had to fly around the garden frantically, making sure everyone was safe, everyone was sheltered. Aja kidnapped a child. And really, they just spent the whole episode.
That's not confirmed. Hey, that's not what happened.
Yeah, I'll let you guys
The
deliberate.
DM said it.
I'll let you guys deliberate once I'm done my recap. But you guys pretty much spent the episode just flying around, making sure everyone was okay. In the end, you bumped into some familiar faces, the Grapevine, Jimmy, Sheldon, and you finally were able to rest in the oak tree where the Tamagotchi lives. So, story-wise, one big thing was happening the whole time. But it was a very important event. One of the first, concrete events that I had planned out. Hedgebane it came to me. I was like, that's hilarious. That's awesome. The idea of a guy who's just coming to trim the hedges, but he's seen as this wrathful god. He's just a contractor. I think this episode was really, really fun, but I'd love to hear more from you guys about the kidnapping, the rock throw, and all that other good stuff. Chapter 8.
Well, first off, definitely not a kidnapping, a nice rescue and delivering home.
Oh.
I'm Team Aja.
Thank you.
And there are two ways of thinking of it. Both are funny, because you took a child from one neighborhood and brought them to a whole different neighborhood.
Yeah. It's like picking up a kid from school and driving them, be like, your parents can come to pick you up. Well, don't worry.
It's not.
I'll take
We're
you to the
gonna take you
heights.
to Grandpa's house outside
It's
of
not
town.
a kidnapping. It's just a forced relocation, an assisted relocation.
Interesting.
It's by herself.
Interesting hill to die on.
Also,
But
by the
then
time
also,
when the kid was grabbed, people
What?
had already evacuated, and also there was no one else around. Everyone was already in hiding. Leaving the kid there would have been like leaving him to die there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
there were a lot of people running around.
I
I'm
forget what
pretty
the
sure.
kid's name was. I believe it was like Lola or something.
But-
Yeah, it's like if you find a child outside and you're like, I don't know where your house is, so we're going to the fire station.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's actually what the intentions were, but it is much funnier because in the context when Aja themselves realized, I essentially kidnapped this child.
Well, so funny about that whole encounter is the fact that dropped them off with what was it, Grandpa?
Yeah, it was Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was meeting the parents, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't know where my kid is. They were supposed to be here."
Yeah, they're supposed to be here in
oh,
front of the house in this neighborhood.
Also happily revealed, completely improvised side plot. I think
Oh, yeah.
I had written out that you guys were gonna find the kid, but I was like, you know, it'll be really funny. It'll be really
We're-
funny
we're
if I
gonna
if I
love
punish
people.
your good deed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that big of a deal. I just knew that it would freak
It-
you guys out to be like, oh.
It was definitely like, it's funnier to joke that you kidnapped, but it's also like, in the event of a natural disaster, as long as the kid is taken somewhere safe, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
this is an earthquake.
With a character
and-
like Aja, who is so like obsessed with their morality, I mean, like, I'm a good person, I'm a good servant of Eukaria. Just the notion of, you kidnapped a child, you're going to bug hell, just made for such good moments. Yeah. So Lee, how do you plead?
Definitely not guilty. Just guilty of doing a good deed and just like, I don't know, saving a life, which is really good. Oh.
I think that's a really good deed. All right.
Also, like, Aja's 14.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
Barely older than the kid. I was like, don't worry, I've got this.
I'll save you. I'm a superhero.
Also, Aja's been asleep for a long time, so they don't quite remember what social norm, like, you know how, like, boomers will always be like, back in my day.
Back in my day,
we
we
would just go
kidnapped
to-
kids off the street. just
Back in my
any
day, our
old
parents would be
time.
like, come home before dark. It's like that.
how do
Yeah.
you think I met Grandma?
That's exactly what it was. That was a good moment, and of course, because we needed some levity in this otherwise intentionally very dreadful scene, because I just had you guys kind of powerless to watch as so many homes were destroyed.
I do think this was also after I accidentally sort of not made Aja question religion, so Patches was just like, I gotta get back on her good side. I think this was after that.
Yeah, I do think your order
Yeah.
of events is correct, which was a very funny.
Yep.
It was such
circumstance.
Plot to like incorporate in that, like, yeah, just everything.
I love the little bits that we had during this. They were always so good.
Hell yeah.
So when towns are getting torn apart, bits are all you got. Let's talk about that rock move you guys did, because that was crazy.
Yeah, this is where I realized, oh, hey, Power Push is really strong for a level 1 card ability, and I started spamming it.
Yep.
Because it's just, hey, you touch something, and it gets blasted back at Mock Jesus.
And you guys blasted a rock.
Yep, that's the first of many things. And aimed for the delicate inner workings of this demon engine.
And you actually managed
Absolutely.
to do something, which, yeah, that wasn't in the notes. You guys weren't supposed to be able to do anything, but you rolled well and you had a plan that actually worked. Didn't think you guys were even going to try and get close to it. But not only did you throw a rock at it, Aja, like, flew right past Hedgebane. Like, you guys were going...
With the child.
With the child. Now, I will say,
Yeah.
with the analogy of a natural disaster, it's like, oh, shoot, a tornado's coming through. Get in my private jet. We're going to just take a quick flyby so you can see the tornado up close.
Huh?
Like, look away. So
You
they
did.
didn't even see the tornado.
I think Aja, like, told the kid to, like, fully close her eyes, because she knew that they were flying. She was just like, don't look, like, you know, it's scary, up here.
I didn't worry about it.
But the rock move was definitely, like, incredible. I was under the belief that not too much was going to be, like, able to be done, because we're little bugs. What are we gonna do? Always.
It worried me that you guys were gonna try and keep doing stuff like that. I was really worried that it was gonna make you think that you could just fight and kill Hedgebane.
The Patches Oz railgun
Yeah.
is not that strong.
Yes. Unfortunately not. I'd love if it could be, but it is not. yeah, it was some pretty great plays from you guys, and I think a very fun. Again, is another like mini boss of sorts. It was kind of more like Princess, just like a chapter long encounter to stir the pot, keep things going crazy. But I think it was a lot of. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I think it was a very fun episode.
Yeah.
I feel like definitely one of my like favorites, just because of how ridiculous it all was, despite how serious it ended up being.
Yeah.
One of the most memorable, like, due to just set piece and events.
Which makes me very happy because, like I mentioned, this was one of the earliest like story concepts. So I'm very glad it was memorable, especially because it wasn't like a big hyped up prophecy. It was literally, I set it up, end of the previous chapter. It was like a vision of, oh my god, something's coming. When? I don't know. Tomorrow.
We'll find out.
And at this point, the days were ticking down for the actual gathering of the gods. And so I gave you guys one more good chapter to really just cover all bases, which brought us to the Sandbox of Secrets, which is chapter 9. This thumbnail is really funny because I do not know what's going on in the bottom right. You can kind of interpret that hand as, I guess, Shane, the ceramic sentinel, but, you know, I didn't really imagine him with a little, like, studded wristband, and he's holding some sand. So what actually was supposed to be going on in here from the sketch was that it was supposed to be the top of Shane's head, and so what here has been drawn as the wrist was supposed to be a pointy hat.
No
Yeah.
time for that. We're serious.
I will put Straw Bunny on blast and say I did ask Didi a couple times, like, hey, send me the sketch before you like finalize it for continuity errors like this. This was one of the ones where it was done on a crunch. So I was not shown the line art before it was done, and I was like, you know what? That's Shane. He's got some cool studded wristbands and he's holding some sand. We'll roll with it. Yeah, so in this one, this is one of my favorite ones, just on sheer player interaction. Aja, Patches, Ozzy, and Rex not decided, but they feel like they're getting closer into unraveling what this like mystery is with the pink eyes. There's a force working against them. So they gotta go somewhere to learn more, and they themselves had the idea that they should go to the Sandbox, not far from where they fought the squirrel, because in the lore the Sandbox is a dangerous place because it's where the toddlers like to play. But to the Gardenians, it's this mysterious like desert area. So they traveled out there to go and see what they could learn. They met a ceramic sentinel named Shane, who was really bad at his job. They spent a lot of really funny time teaching Shane to be better at his job. And they learned that Rex was not alone. And we met Greg and Spike. It's Greg and Spike. Pretend I said it confidently the first time. Who reveal that they've been here for a few days looking for Rex. Rex is not alone, but they need Rex to come back to win the war against the Barbs. Which gets into a whole moral dilemma of, is what they're saying even true? Do they have fake memories now that they're part of Gardenia? Because they seem to believe that you can live inside the house. And so this chapter kind of comes to a stressful conclusion as Greg and Spike rush up the stairs to prove that the inside is habitable. And Spike gets grabbed by one of the toddlers and brought inside. And yep, I was like, nope, more happened in this one, because that wasn't all. After that, our very lovely heroes here decided that they needed to go back after him, except they couldn't, because there was a more pressing matter to attend to, which was that from the source of Jimmy, the Tamagotchi's going wild, and they got to get back to the other end of the garden. So, the Sandbox was indeed full of a few secrets and a few surprises. A lot happened in this one. Oh, and also, sorry, we spent like a full 30 minutes to an hour following up the plotline with the Ladybug family and reuniting them. That did happen in this one too.
That's the best part of this, where we find out that the family's now happily reunited and no one was worried at all, you know?
Yeah,
They were
100%. In fact, they were hiding in the Circadian Burrow, Aja, which is where you had a bit of a revelation. Wow. Yeah. Now I remember why this one was called Sandbox of Secrets, because Aja returned to the Circadian Burrow, went back into the cave where you'd been resting, and you found out that it wasn't what you originally believed. The situation was not quite right. I can't remember if you believed that you were late or too early.
I'm pretty sure I thought that I was late.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out where everybody was, because I was like, dang, how long? Or maybe, no. I might have kept going back and forth.
Yeah.
I think unknown, and I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to be alone if I'm early. Like, I should at least have been able to see them.
So I think this is where you found out which the truth was, that you actually were early, and the rest had vanished through mysterious means that seemed to be related to the prophecy that Amalthea told you about. So yes, first it was the ladybug stuff, then it was the Aja lore, then it was the sandbox with the green boys, then the kidnapping, and then the reveal that something's going wrong with the Tamagotchi, which at this point, if characters in Gardenia are acting out, we know it is not a sign of good things to come. So yeah, a lot happened in this one, but I'm going to throw the mic at Az, because I 100% know that I did not tell you that Greg and Spike were coming. What was your thoughts about that? Did you see that coming? Were you relieved? Were you like, holy shit, I'm not alone?
I don't remember meeting the characters. I just remember the characters. I really enjoyed the characters.
Do you remember? No, if you don't remember meeting the characters, then you probably don't remember when Shane reveals that there were other green guys.
I think, was this the episode where we immediately went, oh, it's Barbies, guys. It's fuck those guys, because we talked to the Sentinels, and I believe because there were two of them, weren't there? And it was like a long conversation with one of them to be like,
it was just Shane.
Turn your neck.
It was just Shane, because Shane was
it
filling
Shane
in
where we were like,
for the one who you guys met in chapter 1, who was now injured and out of the job.
Yeah.
And it was like a 20-minute conversation of turn your neck the other way.
Yeah.
And we kept catching him not doing it. It's like, buddy,
Please.
you have one job.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah, this was the episode where I think it was at the end. It wasn't during the episode, but it was at the end. I was like, gang, I have a theory. Leaf, deafen yourself so that I can tell my theory without you knowing, so that nothing changes.
Yup.
And it was, oh, the magic's pink. Oh, the little green guys were fighting Barbies. Oh, the little green guys are outside and Rex is here now. And there's not a Barbie to be seen. Where are the Barbies? They're inside the house being evil.
And it was a beautiful magical theory with genuinely zero proximity to what was actually going on. But I could see where it was coming from, and I loved the creativity.
I think I also, this was one, maybe it was this or the next episode where I was arguing so vehemently with Greg and Spike that you could not live inside the house even though they literally were from there. I was like, if you go in there, you're gonna die. And they're like,
so,
brother.
Again, read the recap. That was this episode. That was the inciting, or the climax.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired, dude. I don't know. I'm having a bad day. But I think it was just again vehemently arguing. Oh, I think it was we were operating under the assumption they were only alive when they went on the porch. So I think that's why I was like, you can't live in there. You're only alive because you're outside. And they're like, no, I have memories. And I'm like, no, you don't. Just gaslighting.
Well, you weren't gaslighting them, but again, that was the whole purpose of chapter 3, which was to make you guys paranoid as fuck about the notion of leaving what you know is the safe place where life thrives. That was done so that way when they told you this, you guys would be naturally very, very hesitant and try to fight them on it, to the point that they would push it and get one of them taken inside. And I really was caught off guard and surprised at how adamant you guys were to go back for them. That was very sweet and nice. However, it was not your time yet, as the Tamagotchi was waiting for you.
Yeah. It was.
We really be reporting to that thing like loyal soldiers, and then you were like, "Hey, by the way, guys, guess what?
Guess who's
On the
crazy now?
opposite end of where you are, that you now have to travel all the way back to, even though you didn't plan on it. Guess what?" And then you put my boy in danger again.
Yes, I did.
Yep.
I know. Whenever I'm like, I'm losing control over the plot here, I just put Jimmy in danger, and it works. No, just kidding.
And I run towards it full speed.
You guys were about to fully go on a side quest when one of the like penultimate canon event was waiting for you, which was, of course, the Tamagotchi getting a little corrupted itself, which takes us to chapter 10, Dawn of the Gods. Love this thumbnail. It's cute. It's so nice. It's the porch. It's a mysterious human, or to the Gardenians, a mysterious god coming down who's got like cute little like plum shoes. That wasn't in the sketch, I don't believe. That was just a DD thing. But the font here, wowie. Very imposing. Very nice. I like this thumbnail a lot.
It's a good one. I like that.
So, as for this episode, obviously it begins with you guys getting back to the Tamagotchi because something's going on, to find it glowing bright pink. It's freaking out, claiming that you are all, in fact, the harbingers of doom. You have invited the end of Gardenia, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Which you guys obviously don't take at face value. You try to help, you try to stop, you try to reset the Tamagotchi, only to find that Onion and Turnip have also been corrupted and tried to attack you, which really did nothing because Ozzy and Rex, this was the second iconic power push moment here, just like launched them to near doom. You also found out that the Tamagotchi's ramblings had also turned a lot of the garden against you, so you had to do some PR work to get everyone back on your side before it's too late. And then you, I believe, met another Acorn named Olivia, I want to say was the name, who was best friends with Onion and Turnip, who reasoned with you guys as you still wish to go back for Spike that night, being the night before the garden. And unfortunately, despite being tiny, you guys still do have only so much energy you can spend in a day. So you were urged to rest the night and go on your rescue mission during the day when everything's so busy that no one would actually even really notice you. And thus, you waited for the morning to come, got into position, gathered your troops, Greg by your side, inching towards the lower basement door of the house as the gathering began, and Patches was caught frozen as he'd been spotted by a god who at first he did not recognize until he did. It was the child who had left him in this garden so many years ago, who happily grabbed Patches and took him into the house. And that's where that one ended. So, yeah, I do recall some strong emotions coming off of this one.
Yeah, I think I cried.
Yep,
Crazy.
I think you got a text from me that was just, "Leaf, what the fuck?"
Aaron, you sat in for this one, is that right?
I did, I believe.
I
This one and the last one.
Yeah, I know the last one you obviously did, but I want to say I thought you were here for this one, sitting in the back.
I think you sat in because it was like, oh, we're getting close to the end. This could have been the last episode.
Yes.
And then it wasn't, and then it's like, oh, well, I will still want to sit in for the final episode.
Well, I'm certain that's not the case because I knew this episode was always going to end with Patches getting taken inside. That was actually one of the very, very first things that had been set in stone, all the way from chapter 1. Was Patches was always going to be found.
Yeah.
By his old friend.
Actually crazy.
And yeah, Spencer's reaction was all the vindication because I've been planning that for so long, and if somehow it didn't work, I would have been so disappointed because this was the time where I was going to make the story about Patches. And yeah, making Spencer cry wasn't on my to-do list, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
I love a good story.
Of course, the twist too was that Patches kind of realized in this moment that the child that they grew up with had transitioned in adulthood, and I don't know if that was Patches' reaction, but Spencer was clearly full of like so much pride and glee, and it was very sweet and wholesome. I don't know if Patches understands what being transgender means.
I don't know if he does, but I think he understands that this was his girl, this was his kid.
Yeah.
And they're happy now, and that's all that matters. And now they get to see each other again.
Well, it's kind of a one-way street here because you lose your sentience as soon as she sees you. But yeah, you get the point. And the emotional reaction was everything I could have wanted. Very
It was
good.
such a moment, genuinely. Like, it was really cool because obviously I wasn't expecting that at all. And so just being able to witness, I was like, oh my God.
This was one of it was just my favorite twist that I had planned overall, and I'm just very happy that it went so well, and I wanted to do something extra special for Patches, who was a friend to everyone, that they'd get to
May he rest.
his own best friend, yeah, and of course add more peril to the players. You guys were already going into the house for Spike, but you guys are just nice people, and you're helping out your fellow green soldiers. That's your boy now, who's in there, and it meant you guys were gonna have to spend the finale inside the house.
Wasn't there like evil fog in this?
That was Ozzy. Ozzy did that.
That was Ozzy. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That was
not
Ozzy's-
evil, but definitely fog.
That was
Yes,
Ozzy's
there were-
distraction.
With the Tamagotchi to get to it, because everyone in the square was freaking out.
And you
Didn't
guys
we
were
have
to-
public enemy
We
number.
were trying to calm people. It was not working.
We had to disperse it, so I think I made a big thing of fog. Someone made a big thing of fog. And then
Well,
a bunch of explosions, because I learned the spell Fireball, and by God, I was going to use it.
Fireball.
It's not a campaign without at least one fireball.
Yeah, you got
Used it above them so that the sound scared them away, like, dispersing people with, like, loud noises.
I say it was a pretty great move, and it worked. You got away safely, as they'd say in the world of Pokemon.
Classic.
Classic.
I think this was truly the
Classic.
campaign of just like, fuck, what do we do? And then Ozzy blasts them.
Hey,
'Cause
listen,
Yeah.
you can apply that advice to real life. Don't know what to do? Just blast them.
I wouldn't give that advice to Americans. But it truly was just like, guys, we can't find a solution to this. Rex has a gun and Ozzy has magic. Go for it.
One of
Audra
these two will work.
Audra also has magic, but I feel like you used your magic in more benevolent way.
Audrey is a good holy child.
Definitely not.
Audra's not
Yeah.
going to bug hell like the rest of you.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because I remember when, like, in the very first session, I was so, like, axe happy. Like,
Yes.
I saw
Yo.
over, like, all right, I'm gonna take out my axe.
You
And it
were
was just-
really
Yeah.
axe happy at the start.
Okay, but the
Yeah.
axe is sick as hell. Why would you not be?
Look,
Yeah,
just
that's
woke
fair.
up, they're a little scared, they got an axe. That's the only source of comfort.
Yeah, if you're a 14-year-old and you have a weapon and there's a bunch of strangers being like, come, just like, it's fine, we got you. I'm taking out the axe.
Also, y'all never got to see it because this was
And the whip.
Aj's session 0, which wasn't recorded anyway. But that was like that axe and the whip were like a birthday gift from Eukaria, pretty much. Like Aj's 14th birthday was this like whole elaborate trial of like holy worthiness, and they passed obviously, and then got this cool glowing whip and axe. Like, of course you're gonna flail that around.
Session 0 was so good. I was a menace in that.
It was so funny. It was, yeah, of course, because that was before the holy shit, I just woke up, where is everybody?
Yeah, when I was still just a happy-go-lucky kid and not, oh wow, I'm the last of my entire race and nobody knows what happens.
But you also got to consider that canonically, that happened, and then like a few weeks later, you went to sleep, and then woke up, and then the events of this campaign happened. So it's been,
Yeah.
Been a time.
yeah,
From everything that was just like, all right, here's your life. I really made Asha suffer.
yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
As you should.
A good friend of mine, if she were here, she would say, "Suffering builds character." And that's why I had to have Patches get taken away into the last and final chapter, unless we have anything else we want to say about chapter 10.
Nope.
Perfect. Great. And then we enter into chapter 11, into the kingdom of gods. Once again, thumbnail shout out. I really like this one. Super cool colors, very like strong appearance, and the silhouette there of Priscilla, super cool because it's not obvious who it is until you've seen it and you know. Of course, the characters all standing next to each other, staring at it. Wasn't the intention when I was doing the sketches, but it almost serves as like a parallel back to the first one, where the characters are all spread out on each corner. They haven't come together yet. Here, they're all a little group. Minus the fact that Patches has been replaced by Private Greg. But I think it's cool that they're all standing together this time, up against the big evil Pink, which we've established is the scary, awful evil. And yeah, I think this one was very nice. I really like this one. I will say now, after looking at them all over, chapter 10 is the one that completes my top 3. 3, 4, and 10 are my top 3. But this one's super, super cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, chapter 11. Ooh. Gonna do my best to recap this one because it was a 4-hour session. The gang enters the house.
Oh god, it was.
On their death mission to save Patches, save Spike, find out what the corruption is, and save Gardenia. In the basement of the house, they end up rescuing a porcelain doll named Priscilla, who is of course also corrupted and has a super cool fight against them. Hey, and Priscilla was also Aaron. Crazy, right?
Wow. Can you believe it?
So we got to have another Aaron cameo for a nice big old combat session, which also served to kind of this was my way of gently putting down the Barbie theory, because that was so fun. But that wasn't what was going on at all here. So we had I had a porcelainian, as they're called, also pull up corrupted, because they were meant to be another party in the toy war. So yeah, them breaking Priscilla was also breaking down that theory, because they were about to soon find the truth as they ventured into the rest of the house. They found their boy Spike was okay in the toy chest and still very much alive, as the rest of them were as well in this part of the house. But Spike convinced Greg to just stay behind and let things transpire. This whatever the Gardenian heroes wanted to do, it's not a mission for these two soldiers. So Aja, Ozzy, and Rex alone crawled through some vents, met me, which was not canon. That didn't actually happen. And then they met the only person that I'd say is really worthy of being called a god of Gardenia, which is Russell, the architect, creator, father, the guy, the goat, the grandpa, a sweet old man who actually had Patches with him, who had been dropped off by his best friend, who pretty much told the characters everything about Gardenia, how it began with him and his wife and their young son, and how their son grew up in the garden and had stories of the little creatures that were all alive, and the more unfortunate recent developments of how his wife had passed away, and he knew his time wasn't too far off, and he feared his son and his husband were going to get rid of the garden altogether, which was the true cause of the corruption. It was that breaking of that love and foundation that powered Gardenia, causing creatures to manifest these negative spirits to tear it all down as soon as possible, revealing that the only way to save the garden would be to change Blake, the son's mind, which is kind of difficult when you're a bunch of tiny little bugs and toys. But our amazing heroes, as usual, found a way to get his attention, show him what he'd not been seeing, and convince him not to get rid of the garden. In the end, saving everyone, preserving the magic, and helping us get a happy ending just for our heroes, but also some closure for Blake and the family as well, given all the grief they've been battling. And that was where our story came to an end. So what do you think of this one? It was kind of a snooze fest, right?
Yeah, it was just kidding. I fucking
fell asleep.
cried. So
Yes.
I had the time of my life, and then I cried, and then I went to bed.
Now we'll quickly address the Aaron in the room again. Aaron was so great as Amalthea. As soon as that arc was done, I was like, Aaron, where else can we get you here? I was like, do you want to be this evil doll encounter that I have planned? So we ended up rolling with that, and I told the cast, I was like, hey, we'd already established Aaron's welcome to sit in on any more sessions. You know, she's part of the family now, no matter what. And I was like, Aaron's absolutely going to be here for the finale. Might even return as Amalthea for a little cameo. So their guard was down. They knew Aaron was going to be around and might pop in. But as far as I'm aware, the Priscilla jump scare was still a total success. In fact, I know it was because the Priscilla twist was more effective than I thought it would be. I was very, very happy with that. So yes, I was able to sneak Aaron back in one more time, and it was fantastic.
I was very happy, A, to be back, but also B, that I was not expecting everybody to just be like, yeah, she's cool. I was totally, especially Spencer, because as we know, Spencer's our wild card that is anytime anyone slightly annoying or evil comes on, like, you're dead.
I think my kryptonite is just if you play a character, I'm immediately like, this person is never wrong. Actually,
This is absolutely.
Aaron has diplomatic immunity.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And I mean,
But yeah, she was so fun.
the bait and
I'm
switch.
letting
I think
Aaron
was,
draw a tattoo for me, so like if it's
Also-
gonna be in my body forever, I have to be nice.
it's got to come from the queen. Yeah, no, we kind of did it cleverly there, where I said the first few lines as well. So that's how we really like iced the cake, was that I did the voice for Priscilla the first 2 times, and then Aaron and I we scripted out one specific like sentence that when I started to read it, Aaron would catch up and read the rest, and then I'd back off, and then we'd do the reveal, and it was pretty awesome. Did anybody see that coming?
Pretty sick.
No,
Didn't-
it was so fun.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. This obviously being the finale, I had to bring up the big guns. So we had the basement backdrop, we had the main house, and then we had the grandpa room. But the art department was going crazy on this one, which of course is me. So I had a lot of fun. The basement and Priscilla, I think, were so cool. Erin designed Priscilla also, by the way. So if you like that design, that was all her. It was super, super, super good. And I really liked that segment a lot. I wanted to give you guys one less good, like, traditional combat, because that's really not what this campaign was about. But like, your characters were getting stronger, you had cool abilities. So Priscilla was there to just let you use all your cool abilities one last time. And I think it was the best combat of the series.
Oh, and it was so, I don't know, it was so fun for me specifically because A, it was Amalthea, my ride or die for life, but it was definitely a lot less stressful to play Priscilla because it was pretty much just pure combat, and I didn't really need to know anything to like give advice to people. So, but also it was very fun for me because combat is actually my least favorite part of TTRPGs because I'm very not great at it. And I'm very bad at forgetting what all my spells do and then getting too scared to ask. So when it comes to combat, I don't really do much other than just continuously strike with my weapons over and over.
I stab.
Yeah, pretty much. So it was I don't know, it was really fun to just for once be able to play a character that was just super OP. Um, that was that was a ride, which we wanted me to be crazy strong, but we didn't expect me to go that crazy.
Yeah,
So that was a fun time.
it was 100% crazier than anticipated, but I don't regret it for a second. It was
No
so
one
fun.
died.
No one died.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I just didn't want Aaron to kill any player characters, and I think we achieved that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome to the last episode. You're dead.
And of course, you
Yeah.
know, as Ren described, the whole like shock of the Amalthea twist was like, what? Like the person who banished me is played by my friend. So we doubled down. I said, yep. And now the final physical boss you fight is also your friend, just for you.
Yup.
Yeah, but this time I had magic, so it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All was well.
You stood a chance.
Yeah, it was a super fun time. She's a very, I don't know, it's nice. I don't often get to play evil characters, so it's nice to just be able to be pure evil and go crazy and attack.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
nice.
You ate that
Oh.
up.
Yeah, also to like throw in on top of that, Spencer was also not because Patches got kidnapped.
Yeah.
Spencer was playing a different guy.
That's right, Spencer. Could you tell us a little bit about being Greg for half the episode?
I think I made him too gay. I
such
forgot.
The Spencer
No such
shine
thing.
through.
Yeah, I got very into it, like to the point that I was like forgot that I was supposed to go back to play Patches, and Leaf had to message me and be like, "Hey Diva,
Yeah,
you might want to tell him to relax."
I'll chime in here because it was really funny because the plan was always they'd find Spike in the toy box and then the green soldier was supposed to hand off because what I didn't want was for Spencer to have to sit through the first 3 hours of the episode not getting to play at all. So tapping him in as a green guy just made sense because we had one there. But Spencer was having a lot of fun and got a bit too into it. And so when I was dropping the cues from Spike to you know, hey, stay, bro just kept saying no. And I literally had to be like, Spencer, you have to let him go. You're going to be Patches again soon.
I just like locked in so hard, and I feel like I built him a character of being someone who's like, oh, this feels like he's gonna abandon this, and he doesn't want to. So he just has this really devastating ending where he's like, oh no, I'm not built for this. I have to stay. And Rex is like kind of defeated and upset by it.
Rex is
I was
just like, fine.
doomed lovers.
Yeah, and honestly, like editing back and watching it through, it did. Like, 'cause that wasn't how that was supposed to go. Like, you totally missed your cue, and it was fun. But it ended up just kind of making it like a little bit more of like a dramatic moment. You know, like never meet your heroes, and in this case, Greg and Spike let down Rex, and they're kind of left thinking like, damn, we're kind of chuds. And
You
that's just
wouldn't
their
even. I
life
think
now.
it was Greg or whoever said something to Spike and I just didn't even. I just looked away. I was like, I'm not speaking to you right now.
Yeah.
And then we just cut away, and I was like, damn, devastation.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
And then you were kind of just bodiless for for the next little the vent climbing segment.
Yeah, lots of rooms.
And then yeah, just as a little twist, I threw you guys into, because you did like mapping it out, ended up in the room that my GM asset was depicted in being in the whole time. So I had also planned that out from the beginning, because you guys were always going to go in the house, that if you did end up in the room that I'm drawn in, that you could just talk to me and I would just reveal things to you. But
God, you're real?
it was just a fever dream. How did you guys get that HP back? Don't ask me.
Oh.
No one knows what happened in that room.
No one else was in the room where it happened.
Yeah. But I was very very happy with how discombobulated that whole exchange made all of you, because you all just seemed so caught off guard by me just addressing you directly. Like it was perfect. Like, I'm glad that you weren't like excited. I like that it was just, what the fuck is this actually happening?
I'm sorry, did I like did my drink get replaced, or
No, you're just, you know, in the kingdom of the gods, you get a little lightheaded and you see things.
That was one of the things that you had told me it was a possibility that could happen because you were showing me the different backgrounds you had made before we actually did it, and you're like, yeah,
Right.
this is the room where I'll be in if they so choose to go in there. So when they were events and they ended up going in, I was like, it's time.
Holy shit. Holy
She's
shit.
coming.
And I came. Whoa.
Wow.
Anyway, so then they got to go into Grandpa room, and like I said, got to learn all the exposition. Yeah, what'd you guys think of Grandpa?
Made me cry again.
I think it's also crazy because so many times throughout the series we go, God? And then it was like, God?
For real this time?
For real this time.
Yeah, the grandpa
Yeah.
is beautiful. Like, wonderfully written character.
The minute you fucking described that guy, I was like, I know exactly who
I
this
know
is
what
based
you
off.
thought.
And then
When I saw the photo,
I started tearing up.
when I saw the photo, I was immediately like, oh my god. I was so emotional.
I'll prevent you guys from getting accused of vague posting on the after show. Russell, even just by namesake, frankly, all of Gardenia is a homage to my family, and Russell was based off of my late grandfather, whose one of his middle names was Russell. So his design was based on my grandpa, who passed away a few years ago. The house that is depicted is a, like, as best as I can remember, like, recreation of my great aunt and uncle's house that I spent my summers growing up in. So a lot of the things in Gardenia were homages to my family and places I grew up and people I grew up with. So yes, Russell was meant to be a bit of a memoriam, I suppose, to my grandpa and the type of person he was. And all my friends here were there for me when I lost my grandpa, so I think they knew that and they could feel that, and it added to the heartbreak of it all. So there's the
This
context for you.
motherfucker attacked all of our feelings directly, several times.
Yeah.
A wise
Um,
man once said to that, you know, grief is a strong feeling, but the best thing you can do is channel it into art. And so that's what I did. I turned it into art and a compelling story that I knew would make my friends cry.
Yeah.
Oh,
You did
amazing.
a really good job.
Thank you. You sound like you're crying again.
No, I just sound like that. I've cried a lot today. I'll do
Fair
it
enough.
again. I don't care.
I mean, you don't have to, but yes. And so you guys found out the real truth was that the Barbies weren't behind the corruption. It was the love of the garden crumbling because the son who didn't want the garden around because it reminded him too much of the grief he was going through. Very heartbreaking and sad. But you guys did it. I don't remember which one of you went for it, but of course, while wondering how to get Blake's attention, Princess the cat walked into the room. And I don't remember which one of you had the brand idea.
Someone suggested Princess, and then we all hopped on that idea and on Princess's back.
And it was the right idea. And yeah, you guys got to ride through the house. You guys got to steer Princess to get Blake's attention because he can see the cat. And that was also the secret setup for the final Amalthea cameo.
Yes. And it was awesome.
Yeah, there was nothing crazy on that one. I just told Aaron what the cue would be, what to say. There was just a nice little final moment between Aja and Amalthea, like, got you, girl. See you on Sunday for church. And then,
Yeah.
Amalthea dropped a chunk of apiaria onto Blake to cause a swarm of bees to make people leave
Yeah.
the garden, so you guys could have them all to yourself. And then
Yeah.
you
It
guys...
was very
No, you go ahead.
I was just very, very happy, very glad to be able to bring her back for one last hurrah.
It seemed fitting. That final segment was just, I wanted to run back everything we'd been through and done, and so that was it felt right to give Amalthea one last goodbye and a little nod to Aja of, hey, you got this. And yeah, then you guys got to talk to Blake, because upon being led to the Tamagotchi, he realized that it had been there the whole time, and so was all of Gardenia, and he was suddenly able to perceive you guys just like his father was. And y'all spoke some beautiful words to him and really made him rethink his viewpoint. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, that it was you, Spencer, as Patches, that gave like a really like heart-wrenching speech about just coping and how to channel that energy, and you know when you should move on but what you should hold on to, and it was beautiful.
It just kind of, I don't know. I think part of that was obviously unscripted. I just was like off the dome. Yeah, this makes sense.
We wish any of this shit was scripted. Come on.
I wish. But I think part of that. What an ironic day to bring this up. Sorry guys, for reference, one of my pets passed away earlier. Anyways, I think part of it stems from like my family, even like my whole life. Cause you know, what are we if not just an amalgamation of all the people we've met and the things that we have. But like in my house growing up, my mom had a lot of keepsakes and stuff from her parents or my great grandma, like these Christmas ornaments that are like glass and really pretty and her favorite thing. Her grandpa made me this little kind of baby bookshelf thing that I still have. It's on my bookshelf right next to me right now. It's a little red, like the sides kind of look like bears, and it holds a couple of books. And it's like that saying of like grief does not necessarily get easier, but you learn to live with it. So I do firmly believe that you just kind of grow around your grief and you end up holding on to the things that do matter the most to you, like the memory of that person's laugh, or like a place that you went, or a bookshelf, or your grandmother's garden that you continue to tend to because that's a part of her. And I think that was for a little bit of everybody as much as it was for the game of please don't destroy our home.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't even think I made you do like a performance role or presence. It's Degerhart, because it was just so well done that I was moved, and thus Blake was moved, and you guys kind of got your kind of happy ending, and then we ended on a brief 1 week time skip. We ended things back where they began, with Aja being called to the Tamagotchi to let them know that it has felt a strong resurgence of life coming from the Circadian Burrow. And in a full circle moment to tie us back to the very first scene, Aja got to reunite with her family.
Yeah.
I loved that moment so much. Like, I wasn't quite sure how everything was going to end, but I think it was like really beautiful to get to like run home and be like, my family's all here. Interesting for maybe Gardenia season 2. Why it even happened.
Yeah, Lou.
You guys can start your own petition. That's
All right.
Get in the comments.
get in the comments. You do it. I'm really glad you liked it, Leah, especially because again, like I said, you were again, we started the story with you and your arc, so I wanted to make sure we tied back to that. And I think it was a really nice way to wrap up the story. The whole series to me felt very, very nice. It was a tightly wrapped story. You know, I'd like to think that we didn't leave too many loose ends, which is exactly why there will be no season 2. But I was very satisfied. I did, however, I want to take this moment because this after show. It's not just about looking at what happened; it's about what else could have happened and should have happened. I realized I kind of made a significant lapse in judgment because we'd been going for 4 hours. It was very late, and I was like, okay, we've hit our conclusion point. The story's hit. Let's circle back to where we first began. Spencer and I had talked about this recently. We kind of left unaddressed with that 1 week time skip that all the characters are still in Gardenia, which means that Patches chose to stay behind because Patches' arc was all about that he was left here in the garden. So, you know, you can kind of interpret what you want. You can say that maybe the human just accidentally drove off without Patches again, or how Patches actually got to end up staying after being found. Yeah, you can You can really think about that all sorts of ways. But that was actually a major plot hole that I realized like a couple days after. I was like, wait, shit, I just kind of decided for Spencer that Patches stayed in the garden, which was like, that was an accident. So
And I think we talked about it where I was like, no, I think it makes sense for Patches because like his person, and like I said, it's the things that you grow around and you learn to kind of live with, where Patches was like, I have closure on like this person is okay. I wasn't abandoned. They are safe and happy. And she can always come back. These friends and these people are like a part of me now, and I've changed, and so is she. So I think it's okay to be here. And that's what it is in my head. You can do the funny bit and be like, damn, she forgot again, that's crazy. Which, as a human, a god, whatever, is very possible, where it was like, she went into Grandpa's room or something and was like, hey, have you seen this rabbit? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So there you go. That's not
or
a bad
maybe
theory. That's not a bad theory.
Or my favorite future theory is that she did leave Patches on purpose to be a gift for the couple's like soon to be child, or for their kid. For like because the twin terrors.
Yes, they are indeed. They are indeed.
So I think you could also say maybe she left it for them because it was a piece, like a big part of her, and it's like her little gift. So yeah.
There you got it, folks. Live. If you had watched the finale and were like, "Wait, what the heck? Why didn't we get a proper resolution?" There are some options for you. You decide what's canon, not us.
Mm-hmm.
And that wraps up Gardenia. So, with that, I mean, we kind of broke it down piece by piece. I'll give the floor to you guys for the last few moments. If there's any other final thoughts you guys want to share, just like overarching feelings about Gardenia, please don't use this time to beg me for season 2. Do that on your own time. And we can give it one final goodbye.
I think personally, not to get overzealous, because I am a guest, so I don't want to take all the speaking time, but I really do feel it's only natural that if we're going to spend the last few moments of this wonderful after show talking about anything, it's about Leaf and how amazing she did putting all this together and creating this world, and just like, I don't know, I guess how thankful we are for you for doing this, and how amazing it turned out to be. You created this world that made several people cry and got us way too invested, and it felt so real, and your creativity is just so unmatched. I was just a guess, and just like to be just in a guest position like this and feel as emotionally attached and also changed as I just from this world you created is such a wonderful telling of just how amazing of a storyteller you are.
Truly, like it's beautiful, like from the art to the story to everything you've done, and the amount of heart you put into everything you do, but especially this campaign, are just so wonderful.
I see what you guys are doing. You're trying to get back at me for making you cry. I see.
This is when we can have season 2. No, I'm just playing.
Well, thank you. That's very sweet. I'll like also note for context, this was my first like full length campaign, just kind of like period.
Yeah.
Like, I've built up my skills as a dungeon master by doing roll red stuff. So that really means a lot. This for my first campaign, I needed it to be an idea that I really believed in, and I'm glad I did, and I'm glad you guys had a really great experience with it. That makes me very, very happy.
Yeah, you did it 100%, and I don't know, I feel so blessed to be able to be a part of it. I do genuinely, I would always see things that were being posted about it and just being like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. I wish I was in this one.
It should have been me.
Not him. Me.
And in the end, it was you.
It was.
Final bit I'm gonna add in, because we didn't really talk about it that much, but the system itself,
Mm.
This was, as a player, getting to use Daggerheart for the first time. It's fun. It's fun. It's very enjoyable, especially for like this length of game where it's like
Yeah.
shorter and you're not like doing crazy things and you don't have 600 abilities and a spell list that's 6 miles long to read.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
get me wrong. I love that. I have a photographic memory. I thrive. But not everyone does. And it's fun. It's fun, and I think you built a world that made the system shine
Aw.
and
Yeah.
just picked a good system for the world you were crafting.
Yeah, that's
And-
exactly what I was thinking.
That's like technically that's a very nice compliment. Like that's like a damn, that feels good. That feels good.
Yeah, no, it really does. Like it Daggerheart was definitely the right way to go for Gardenia, especially with the way they do combat. I don't know, it felt like it fit the world so much better.
Oh,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
like this was my first time using Daggerheart, and genuinely like it felt so different from other campaigns that I've been in as a like even as a newer player, you know.
Yeah.
But it definitely fit the way that this world works so well, and I can't imagine playing the more like I guess traditional way. I don't know.
Rules heavy.
Yeah, with like just I don't know the way that the story progressed. I think this allowed us a lot more like liberty and freedom to take this world that you had created and like actually engage with it, you know, and not just like be led along.
Hmm. Much different than the Halloween game you played in with us at home.
Oh, but I loved that.
I know. I know.
Well, I think
Heck
with
yeah.
that, I think we've said everything that there is to be said. So I'll say, thank you guys. Thank you for playing, for engaging with my world and my characters, and enjoying all the art and everything that went into it. Again, it's projects like this, like content TTRPGs. It can only happen with everyone who's part of it, and I had a really amazing group of players involved. And again, like having Aaron as a guest, like you can tell just from this how much Aaron really appreciates all the work that goes into this, and it's why I love to do this. It's to make my friends laugh and to make them cry and to make them ooh and ah at cool art and stuff. So I love doing this stuff, and I'm so glad I get to do it with such wonderful people. So thank you all for being a part of Gates of Gardenia. Thank you at home for watching it and also listening to this podcast and getting to hear our thoughts looking back at it. We'll leave you with just a note of like, hey, we'll see you soon. There's going to be a lot more to come soon. Sorry, no, there is no season 2, but I am cooking up a whole bunch of other new campaigns. In fact, a bunch of other people in here are also doing so. So, hey, we will see you soon. Stay tuned for more. Have a great night, and thanks you for sticking around to the after show. Good night.
Please like and subscribe.